G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined this week and pretty much every week. I can't get rid of him. Algared, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, the
Oh,
partner in crime.
your voice is breaking up, my friend. I think you're having that mic issue again.
The yin to your yang, the partner in crime, the better-looking one, the well-dressed one.
Someone lied to you, right? Yeah, you're better dressed. I'm more comfortably dressed with it. Actually, tell them about what you were telling me just before. Your tailor. This is a first world problem. Tell me about your tailor.
Yep. My tailor is closing down because he had a heart attack. And you go, okay, yeah, he's 84.
84. I was like, wow, he had a good run.
His sidekick is also quite old. He's the guy who, he's the other tailor. But yeah, so it's a matter of going in and buying stuff and getting suits that I probably don't need, but so
you buy them up for the next 20 years, type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never been to a tailor, ever. And I think we'd have to say that most people haven't been to it. It's a dying art these days. It's all mass produced.
Yeah, well, it is, and like I'd go in and I'd say, I'm after such and such, and you say, you're just looking and say, yeah, you're this size.
Now,
spot on.
Just to, I don't do this to mock you or anything. This is out of a curiosity question, right? How much would say a pair of pants cost at a tailor compared to, like, I know you could walk in and maybe spend 50 Australian dollars and get like a pair of like really cheap, basic, just black dress pants, right? That's probably the cheap.
So if you want wool, you're probably looking at 200.
Right, so but this is custom made and it'll totally fit you.
Oh, if it's, I don't get the full on custom made because it's like if you get a custom made suit from scratch, you're looking at 2,500.
Yeah, but that's the whole kit and caboodle.
That's the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to just narrow it down to one thing, like the pants or whatever.
But if you get one that's off a rack and then get it fitted by him, and like I'll get one off a rack,
right.
But I'll get one of the ones he stock. But then he'll go, yep, okay, he'll adjust.
So you're essentially just getting them altered to fit yourself.
But he
will
that's
a lot more reasonable. That's a lot. I just picturing you going in there and you're like, hey, it's Friday. I want a gold suit and
no, that'd be old man Hurston. That'd be the character and Star Citizen. But me, no.
I'm going out my 8-9 jump. I need my bling bling suit.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't do that. That's to be able to do that.
Yeah, but yeah,
no, you can't. You can't afford to do that on a teacher's wage, mate.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Gathleen, thank you for the Prime subscription on Twitch. I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
07 to everyone in chat. There is some actual shit to talk about today, which is really interesting. Both the leaked discords have a bunch of tips in there. Algared hasn't had a chance to see it because we basically both got up. I've seen the list, so we're going to go through him and we'll talk about those. We've also got some little things from the monthly report and stuff, but that was all going to be boring compared to the ship. So I think we'll just cut straight to the chase. We'll give it, what time is it?
No, I think do the boring stuff and build up to the.
Well, the other thing is it does let some people come in. That's the other thing. Like, because we just started the stream. So I think the first thing I wanted to talk about, if I flick it over, was this is out. It's not actually in yet, so to speak. It's coming in 410, so obviously we'll get this probably next week, by my math, if I am correct. I assumed it was going to be around Wednesday to Thursday next week. You can see that they've made a new pattern, which is Damascus. So it's that swirly kind of metallic pattern, and you'll see it again on gold and bronze, or take a bit of a metal, and they can reuse it again and again. And it's obviously, as you can see, it's on the Asgard there, and also on the Steel Tech. But it's got a really stupid name. I'm just going to call it the Bull. It's a BUL 42 or something like that. It's got some weird number with it, and it's by CDS. So it's the CDS Bull something, and it's just like a word salad again. Why they couldn't just call it the a warthog or whatever. Like, give it a name.
It's the bulwark.
Yeah.
So the idea of it's a solid front.
It definitely makes stuff look good, but they can't name them good. That's really bad.
But I do like the Damascus pattern there. It's a serally pattern. It's folded and folded and folded again.
Every white Knight of Star Citizen will come accompanied with this now. That's what they should have called it. They should have called it the White Knight bundle. It would have been funny as fuck. That's
anyway. They need the Damascus pattern with a white paint, just so.
Yeah. Well, silver's pretty close.
It's kind of white.
Yeah.
It's kind of silver white. I don't. Yeah.
Not the most accurate gun in the world, but it definitely puts a lot of bullets down range. The surprising thing, though, the reason we're really talking about this, is it was only $30. That's what really blew me. There are now 3 packs that are $30, this being one of them. And believe it or not, this is probably the best value one. I honestly thought that this would have been 40.
And the nice thing, like, I suppose the nice thing about packs for people, the older backers, is you tend not to get LTI on things like that. So buying them with credit is no.
Well, you've got to buy it with war bond. That's the main issue with these ones. But if you look at the last one, the Fury, like, you got a skin for the Fury, and you got some bling bling clothes, not even armor, clothes, just like a regular standard gun, like not a mega machine gun. It was like $23. So $7 more. You get it on a much bigger ship, which is the Asgard. You get a whole new class of armor, super heavy armor that we've never seen before, and a backpack that actually contains because a lot of packs don't even come with backpacks. But this also comes with a backpack, which is also the ammo clip for the gun. This should have easily been the most expensive pack they've ever sold. And there's something,
and this also has that
for once in our favor.
Yeah, look, I gotta agree that feels like a reasonable price.
Yep.
I can't go beyond that. It feels like a reasonable price, and the gameplay with this, when you were describing what you guys were doing in the testing, and with Paul and other things, watching Paul play.
Yeah,
I think it was Paul and
Loken. Yep.
And you really had to do that combined play, because this thing sprays ammo downrange, but it's, as you said before, it's not the most accurate.
Yeah.
And so you've got to have someone running behind you, constantly putting ammo in the back of the pack.
Yeah.
And doing the healing and doing other stuff. And the question is, how much damage does that armor take before it breaks?
Yeah, well, you can still find it in game too. Like, obviously, the advantage of buying one like this, though, is you just have it and you can use it. And you don't have to go out and grind for it, and it won't ever be taken away from you. So.
Yeah.
The one thing I do want to bring up is the eternal problem with these bundles, and Parker says it simply. He just says, not wanting a Volk skin, $30 is too much. He says Volk, but he means Asgard, but I knew what he meant.
Yeah. And you really do, the ideal is to have the ability to buy the skin separate. People buy the suit separate.
Well, again, how many more people would have brought this at $20 if it was just the suit on its own? We will never know, but I guarantee you it would have been higher than than this one at 30 with the skin for the Asgard.
I have to agree. It would have gone through a roof.
And I think we will all agree this is the epitome of showing the problem, because that's a very popular ship, right? But not everyone owns it. And you now see the double-edged sword that comes with bundling. Yes, you force people to pay more money, but people will buy less.
But people will turn off because I'll just earn it in game, because I don't want to spend $10 on a skin I don't know.
And unfortunately,
nice looking skin.
Unfortunately, when your game's been around for over a decade and people talk to each other, they become very well informed. And it'll be no doubt the same. Any new people coming in, they're going to talk to the older people. that have been here longer. It's only a matter of time to everyone is aware of your shit, and this doesn't go down well. You were the one that informed us and allowed us to get informed because you took so long to make this game. You've got to have both options.
Here's a point from Dom. Now, Dom in Twitch says he bought this bundle. This is the first one he's actually bought, or they've actually bought. But they said, I love buying guns with special skins, but I keep skipping these bundles because I don't want the armor or the paint.
Yeah.
So usually when the bundle, and it's because you've got things that people don't want, so people go, oh, well, I'll just earn it in game. And very occasionally you get one where people say, yeah, I want to buy it.
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
The argument goes both ways. You might want the ship skin, or in this case, most people are going to want the armor. It's usually they don't want the armor. That's why the bundling occurs, right? But in this case, everyone wants the armor, and some people want the skin, right? But it's usually the other way around. Like every bundle I've passed on, it's because I don't want the armor, and I feel like I'm paying twice the price for it to get something I don't want. Right, that's what bundling is, and I just want to bring something up. Galactica, when I talked to her, right? Galactica is formally, as of today, she stopped working there today. A community manager of CIG, and she previously had worked at World of Warships. Now, anyone that plays World of Warships would know they went through a similar thing where they brought in bundling, and they lost over a third of their audience because of it. Right. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to lose less than a third of their audience, right? Because it is just a cosmetic. But what I'm trying to say is you're potentially missing out on a third of your revenue by doing it this way.
Look, I've always just like, this is going to sound weird coming from someone who has bought lots of shit packs. But, I don't like bundling. I don't like the bundling because it says I've got to buy if the pack's got everything you want, then you go fine.
Yep. Hang on. People are asking about Galactica. As for Galactica specifically, right here, I'll just open this. This is the her goodbye post, right? And you can see there I said thanks for everything you did. Blah blah blah. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, this is more of a Manchester thing, meaning she lives in Texas. They want a community manager that'll move to Manchester. It's the same old thing. They're all moving back into one studio type of thing, or so it looks like Texas is eventually going to go where the dodo, or they're going to be a very trimmed cut back area or whatever. I don't know the full thing. I do know there's a lot of server rollout things in Texas that's a very unique thing, so they'll probably never completely get rid of the Texas studio, but it'll be really cut back.
It'll be a streamlined part of a business rather than everything. Whereas Manchester seems to be where they're certainly going for everything, and it's hard because
that's Galactica here, by the way, for those of you who don't know who she is.
In the green.
Yeah, Jared. Few other people that have disappeared over the years that were CIG devs and stuff as well. Yeah, Skagalian. The only person I know in here I really care about is this Australian guy over here. You guys would know who he is. Me and Algared do know who he is. Anyway, he's a friend of Paul's too. You know who it is, don't you?
He is awesome at making the armor and doing the 3D printing.
Yes.
He actually started off getting the information from one of the other Australian guys whose name has just gone, Mr. Combustible.
Yeah, that's it.
So he got help from Mr. Combustible in terms of building armor and doing the 3D printing stuff originally way back. And Mr. Combustible did that type of stuff for movie props and other stuff. And at one point, Mr. Combustible said that he is better. He just left him for dead in terms of what he was doing. So
Right, so before it runs off the screen, I need to say this. So Rabbit asks, hold up, Galacta being replaced by Ollie 43. Not really, no. Ollie's more of a content creation type of person. Galactica is a social, like Twitter, Facebook, that type of thing. Completely different kind of areas of content creation. He's more about, you know, getting social engagement with Star Citizen and stuff like that. She's incredibly good at her job. Paul's told me a few times, I've heard about Astropub here, just how quickly he's seen her kind of build and promote and watch a site kind of develop. I got a runny nose. But yeah, she is going to be sorely missed. I hung out with her for the first time and only time in Manchester. She was a wonderful lady, really friendly and really knew her stuff. And I wish her well. She just got married, actually. So, actually,
wouldn't be surprised if even that had an influence.
Yeah, knowing her, she'll be at some other game place really shortly, or whatever she wants to do. She should have it all worked out and planned out. She was very.
She'll have something.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Yeah, she would have known it was coming. I'm pretty sure. But apparently, she says she left voluntarily. But I'll believe when I see it, knowing what's happened to everyone else in the States. Or you had to move or leave. So that's not really voluntarily. But anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember our running in, chatting with Galactica on at Manchester, and being able to show her some of the tricks and tricks and tips for.
Well, she had the same. Yeah, she had the same camera me and Algared had, and she hadn't used it as long as we had, and so we were showing her all these little shorthands and stuff like that, and she appreciated it. I did kind of allude to that actually in my comment. I actually said, hopefully you find somewhere that appreciates you enough to get you that pocket camera. I actually said that. Because CIG wouldn't buy the camera, she had to buy it herself. So I was like, what the hell? This social media manager that doesn't have a camera. What the fuck?
And it wasn't just like any camera. It's the Osmo Pocket 3 is a great little camera. It's so small, but it can do so much.
It's basically a drone camera on a battery is basically what it is. So it stabilizes and all that. It's just really, and it's a really good little tool for a social media manager because it's nice and slim, and it does 4K and all that. We streamed on it as well. It had the ability to stream, so we got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I still get a lot out of it. It's my camera.
Well, Algared's talking to you on it right now, basically. So that's what Algared looks like on that. Right. This is going to sound like a really weird one. Why would I bring up an empty Firefox page? But late last night, as you'll see there, I've got Amazon, YouTube. These are all my regular links. It's the third one we're interested in here. They've actually updated the icon for the website. First time ever. So yeah, that was the update to the website. I know it sounds stupid, but I've been looking at this little black and white square thing for the past decade, and it just changes. I was like, what the fuck? So I thought that was newsworthy.
Well, that's the type of thing, as you're saying, it's the type of thing you do when you're getting ready for a launch.
You want to
make your website. And so, again, it's just all those little things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Yeah.
Right. Right. So we've got the monthly bundle. No, the bot is not open. Shit, I should do that. Thank you for the reminder. Too much going on.
The Nightbot came up and reminded me, so thank you, Nightbot.
Right, let's get going. Apologies. Come on. Yep, we're good. Bot's going through. Right.
Yep. Bot is now working, so any questions that you did right should come through.
Hopefully. So I did want to go through this as well. This is the roadmap roundup. They did have some big things coming in here. So a lot of the Genesis and Planet Tech and Starkey Tech. So this will allow them to essentially start rolling out the new Nyx planets, but also the outposts as well. And if you kind of go through and read everything, it talks about that they're brand new outposts. They're not the same as Pyro outposts. It's a whole new tool set and tile set, so to speak. No rivers as of yet. Paul did mention to me something about Mr. Moist, whatever he is, Captain Moist, you know, the guy that does the rivers and stuff. He was apparently on a live stream. He was in the chat with 10#42, who's another content creator, and he mentioned that they'll be coming at a later date. And so there's a lot of unofficial news shit going around about this
planets and worlds, and
I'm sure it'll come out over time. But yeah, basically, you can tell it's kind of being made for base building, and rivers will come later. It's prioritization, but obviously.
And I could see one of the things coming from rivers will be another gathering method, which will be fishing. And Lotro was probably the first game I came across where I had friends who would just log in to meet up with other people and either go fishing or smoke their pipe and blow smoke rings. That was
a groundbreaking planetary tech.
Yep.
And I mentioned rivers are coming later, and Algared, in his infinite wisdom and ability to do so, relates it all into fishing. How do you disconnect so much and go?
Oh, mate, I can just see the game, you know, the development's coming.
I think you need AI fish first. You need so much.
Yep. But hey, we got fish. We got some fish. We got little fish tank fish. You know that. You own half of them.
How do you go from planetary tech to I'm looking forward to fishing? Like, it's such a leap.
I didn't say I'm looking forward to fishing. Right. I said lots of people are looking forward to fishing. You know, and I know it'll be a popular thing.
Right, Grim's with you. He reckons they're really important for their level flying. But
hey, dynamite fishing. It's a great way.
The leap is
to
insane. Thank you, John Citizen, for the 10-month subscription on membership on the YouTubes. Appreciate it as well. And thank you.
Definitely appreciate it.
No, that's not a thing. Right, yeah, but thank you to Grim as well.
And Grim, you are welcome.
Grim, if you want to come in and talk about the ships, we're about to talk about them. If you want to join us, if I know you like to yap about them, and I know you'd be keen to, so feel free to jump in, and you can join us. Algared we haven't talked about any of them, so Algared doesn't know. So you get to see his reaction. Yeah,
I know the Stingray. I have seen it.
Yeah, I saw. Well, you saw that because I was laying it out, but that's all you've seen.
Yep. That's why I saw it. I know.
I am traveling this weekend, but I am listening. Okay. Hello, Mrs. Grim and Grim Jr.
And the Grimlets.
Grimlets. No, there's only one Grimlet. It's
okay. Well, Grimlet.
One was more than enough to handle, apparently. You know.
Yep. Just remember.
She's a shock trooper, that one.
Don't feed it after midnight.
Yeah, don't feed it after midnight. That's it.
And don't let it get wet.
The Gremlins. Right, yeah. The Gremlin. Oh, that's going to stick.
Gremlin.
There's your online name. The Gremlin. Yes, right.
Yep. Why am I called Gremlin, Dad?
Yeah, she's probably...
Don't worry, son, you bought me.
Yeah. Sorry, Grim. Right.
Yep.
Right.
He said, I like it. There you go.
So, real quickly, Paul did go through a lot of this stuff too on his stream yesterday because they did a whole bunch of Castak Arms stuff. He's a big Castak Arms fan. They are similar styles, but basically start to fill in the gaps that Castak Arm doesn't have, you know. So, if they had a rifle before, and I believe I've used it a few times, but they got a rifle, but now they got an LMG, and now they got a pistol, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. So they're just filling in little gaps, and it's cool to see them come back around. Ones that they haven't done before.
It is. I do like when they fill out a manufacturer, and that's one of the things why I like, or why I always wanted more Kruger ships, or more Kruger items, or more Kruger parts, or more Kruger components, because apparently they make components as well. But same with other companies and stuff. If they say it does it, it's nice when you see them actually fleshed out and do.
Now this is something I did want to talk about specifically because I hadn't seen anyone else talk about it. And this made me think of object container streaming quite a bit, right? Implementing the population manager tech. Its primary goal is to load balance the server population and create inhabitants appropriate to their local environment while enabling more complex interactions between agents for a dynamic context. So that's NPCs in relation to human players. That's how I read that. I don't know if you read it the same, but that's something we haven't seen before.
No, and it certainly the dynamic filling the population on the servers with NPCs, which means the ability to interact. That's not tied to server meshing in the long run. I like you say, I can't unsee that as being.
Yeah. So that was just one that I hadn't seen other people. Citizen Wake, thank you for the gifted sub, and Bunker Fist, thank you for a sub to Grim. Why'd you give Grim a sub? He doesn't need a sub. He just come in here whenever he wants. He owns the place. He just walks in. Anyway.
But hey, it's Grim's first gifted sub.
Yeah. Probably his first. He's probably had a few. I go on Grim's and I get gifted them too.
On this channel.
They throw them at you when you go there. It's like confetti. They throw them away. Yeah, have a sub. Anyway.
Anyway.
So Genesis Tech, I think it's gonna be really cool. I think it's really interesting. I think that probably means that Genesis V5 is not in Squadron. I don't see them trying to update, like if Squadron's delayed, I don't think it's for planetary tech. I think a lot of the stuff that you'd see in Squadron's probably a bit more let's just say handcrafted.
Well, that makes sense as well, because you know, I think when we see those locations in the verse, it's going to be like going to Guild Wars 2. So if you played Guild Wars 1, you'd see the world as it was before everything happened. And in Guild Wars 2, you see the world 20, 30, 40 years years later, after everything's kind of regrown and stuff. So you can kind of go into an area, and after a while you go, oh, hang on, I know where I am.
Okay, so Pete said, Paul seems to think that the tech would make it so you wouldn't see NPCs in jeans and t-shirts on moons with no Atmo, for example. I think that would be a part of this, but that seems like tier 2 to me. When I read it, it's more like allocating NPCs around human players. That's how I read it as. Because at the moment, they just... You walk into areas and they'll all be standing on chairs, but no one was actually there, right? There only needs to be NPCs around you as in the player. So they can spawn them around you and then unspawn them around you, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Yeah. You don't need them there if they're not.
And obviously you need more people in a city compared to at an outpost or in the middle of nowhere, right? Because we'll just read it again. Implementing the population manager tech. Its primary goal is to load balance the server population and create inhabitants appropriate to their local environments, while enabling more complex interactions between agents focused on dynamic context. So that's them talking to each other, interacting like real people.
But it also does like that.
I do agree with what Paul said, but I don't think that's the primary goal. Sorry, Algared. Go ahead.
I think you can see from that list of primary goals that what Paul said is there. You know, characters suitable for their local environments, but that's only one little part of that description. It's also loading the balance, making sure we have the right number there to make it work, having them be able to interact. And when you first read it, I was thinking, and that also meaning, you know, able to interact with us type down the track, you know, so whether it's the mission givers or even the way they react to us when we pass by, or but all of that type of stuff. And that's important. Like all of that is important. All of that is important, because when you go into the world and you see the people walking around, or the NPCs walking around, it makes the world feel alive. You remember Cyberpunk?
Yes.
When you're playing that, I remember you're doing the first playthrough, and it was like, wow, this place is alive, and it was just NPCs going everywhere. And then we did some talking, and then you looked up, and the NPCs had walked off, and it was just empty again. But just that initial thing of seeing all the NPCs doing their things, that was like, oh. And if CIG can get that all the time, that is chef's kiss.
Okay. Last thing to talk about, is the sneak peek. This is before we talk about ships. This the tagline for this is hot or cold. And I have no clue what that's about. Like, obviously it's got something, it's a heater or a cooler or something, but what it's for, this is going to be the type of thing we're not going to know until it's released.
Yeah. It's a type of thing I could see, like as I'm just thinking that. And Bunker Thits, thank you for that tier 1 sub, Rabbit07. I believe you're the recipient, so
I'll show you thanks.
What you need to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm reading chat to see if anyone food crafting.
Yep. Hot or cold?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I go to crafting, but I also go to components like a cooler.
Yep.
It could just be the outside of the Stingray, but it specifically mentions in the tagline hot or cold.
In fact, there's an activate cooling and a push button there.
What was the name of the Katy Perry song? Because someone said Katy Perry, and you're right. There was a song called Hot or Cold.
Hot and cold. Yep. And I can't remember that the song was running through the back of my head.
Yeah, we're about to show the Stingray, and you'll see very quickly. Yeah, it is very not the Stingray. But the Stingray is very metallic looking, mildly.
But when that first came up, and I was thinking, I was thinking this would be the type of thing I'd expect to see on
a lot of
Turtle, the Terrapin.
A lot of people are saying food printer.
Yep.
We do know food printing is something that has to come down the line.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's
whatever it is, it's something.
Let's move over to the Stingray, because I think a lot of people want to talk about it. So this is the Stingray. These are the 2 leaked images that have come out. I think we can all agree that this has been probably most likely taken from CIG's website. They look very similar, like it's a website. Someone put it up, was up temporary, someone grabbed it, and then they've taken it down, but it was up for 5 minutes, and that was all they needed. And so what I mean is that sitting in the typical ship hangar that you see for one of the paint skins. And just to show you, there is a second one. Right, so we can kind of confirm this is a very good leak if it is fake. But I've already noticed a few things, so from the original sneak peek, you'll see here, Algared, see that air intake at the front there in black. If I actually go back to the other one, it makes it more obvious because it's in red. That's the one that we looked at not last week but the week before. I also believe that the engine or the out is actually the back, not the front. It's not a separate engine. It's the back of that engine on the back on the other side. Also, there was a leak a couple of months ago that showed the engine kind of in the files, and it's identical. That round thing at the back with the fin out the back and the circle around it, that's exactly what leaked a couple of months back, right? So basically putting it all together now, all the leaks we've seen do line up with this.
Yep. No, and I could see CIG trying to entice you here with a black.
What does it remind you of, the Stingray? Because there is another ship, and I cannot escape the similarities between the two. It's already in the game.
Already in the game.
Don't give it to him, chat. Don't give chat. Shut up.
Oh, look at chat.
Don't read chat. Don't read chat. You're not allowed to read chat. You're cheating.
Right. See, my just looking at the body.
No, you read chat. I bet you read chat.
No, I've read chat. But when I was first looking at it, the very first thing I thought of was, I went back to Marine Boy. Now it doesn't quite look like the Marine Boy ship but that shape just does kind of do it for me. I did glance at chat, and yes, the fold up wings, the main body, it's an Eclipse.
Yeah, it just reminds me of it when it was that they had all those shots of the Eclipse on like the Idris and stuff like that. Like it looks like a carrier bomber.
Yep.
And I keep going back to, does this have an interior? Right now, it could have an interior, like you can see there's a little space there, but the way it's kind of got like those two kind of dome things, I'm in that Aries clips kind of thought process, right?
Yep.
Now, knowing that they also did the modular bomb pieces for the Gladiator, the Clips, the Retaliator, you see where I'm going pretty quickly here.
It does have module.
What was this the test case?
But the other thing, when I first saw that, the other thing that I thought of when I was looking at the body, because of the two domes, it initially made me think of the Defender with the dual cab.
Yes.
But then you see that. But then you see the cockpit wedged in between them. In between them. But that middle section did remind me of the Defender.
Look, let's be honest, it could have variants. I would be very surprised if there is not a variant for this thing. We now know going forward they try to basically resell us as much shit as possible. We've seen it again and again and again. We had a Wolf and then we had an Alpha Wolf. If we don't have a Stingray and then a Steve Irwin, that's what I would call it personally, but I'm an asshole. That's too soon? Too soon, Algared? You okay? You okay?
I'm fine.
Right. Oh, the Manta Ray. Yeah, you know what I mean. Manta Ray, that might be a better one, right? But the Stingray Manta Ray, that's a really good way to do it, right? The point I'm trying to get at is if we don't see this again, I'll be super surprised in some form or another. You know, maybe one's a bombing variant, maybe one's a fighter, a racer, whatever. I don't know, right? It's really hard to detect what they're going to do these days, where before it was the other way around. It was like we could tell what it was going to be, but not what it was going to look like or what its name was. Now it's the complete opposite, where we've got this information but not that information. So things have changed.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. It's hard to work out. Going on the manufacturer, you kind of think, given the Kruger have that, you know, you've got your P-52 and the 72, which was sold as kind of a racer. You've got your light fighter with the energy and the ballistics. I could see them doing the same with this. I kind of hope there's not the bespoke weapon systems again. Yeah. But I do hope they're using Kruger weapons rather than...
Well, you know bomb racks better than me, but I'm not sure if they're bomb racks. But see up the edge of the wing there on your side? Almost like those 4 little red fins. I don't know if they're just little fin things, but they almost look like little bomb racks or something like that.
I do like little missile racks or bomb racks. So I was wondering what they were.
Yeah. So again, I look at the size of this, and again, I'll ask Chad as well to weigh in here, but I think this is more on the heavy fighter domain than the medium fighter. Again, I'm talking about the size, and I just look at it and I see the Aries, you know, like that big heavy fighter with just a little cab. That's kind of what I see. I think it's too big of a ship to be a medium, especially with that really broad wingspan. But yeah, I'll put that to you, Algared. Is this in the heavy fighter domain for you?
Well, we know they were doing, if I remember correctly, they were doing a heavy fighter. So I would expect that. Yes, Pete, it does feel very much like a Jerry Anderson creation. Thunderbirds type stuff. Or not Captain Planet.
It is so newbie and it's not funny. Like it feels like it could go underwater. Like that 1960s.
Yep. Well, hence my thought. The Marine Boy ship.
We weren't that far off with what the AI image that we got was either.
No, the AI image was very close to that.
Pretty damn close. Like I'd say, like we don't have the upswept wings, but they do fold up, right? So, what, 90% there? I think it was pretty close.
Yep.
I don't know. This is going to appeal to some people and not appeal to others. The other thing I do notice is the back of those humps, Algared, actually also seem to be engines. It's hard. I'll do it with the mouse pointer. See this? It feels that's a cutaway.
It does.
And there's another cutaway on that side. So there's an outtake there, and outtake there, almost like it's got 3 engines. And then some kind of air intake up here. So we might find that there's some kind of other kind of air intake. It kind of goes in and up and out.
Unfortunately, I do have to say it also looks like it does have possibly bespoke weapons, because it looks like the weapons are built into the body. That looks like 4 weapons at the front. So
that could just be a Kruger thing going forward. They only sell their own shit.
Yep. Hey, it makes sense. That's why they built the Tiger Strike gun initially. Hey, we make all the parts. Why don't we build our own gun? Hey, we make all the parts. Why don't we build our own ships? So if they do it, to me, it's perfectly in their wheelhouse. And I also think they do ship components. I think that's one of the things they also do. I'd have to go back and read. But
Spike does say in Twitch, what if they're not guns? Well, he doesn't say this, but he kind of says missile bays at the front. So I'm kind of interpreting what he's saying. So if I put words in your mouth here, Spike, please feel free to disagree with me. But I think he's saying, what if they're kind of custom missile, not custom gun?
And they could be that as well, 100%.
That said, though, I don't really see any other kind of guns. Now, unless they're kind of under the wings, obviously, which is totally possible.
And that's where I went. I was kind of looking and seeing, well, those red things on the wingtips, they look like missile racks of some form. I could be totally wrong there. And then if they're missile racks, then those other things are guns. The top could also be missile racks.
For now, though, I'm going to file it under another heavy fighter. That's where I'm leaving it. And fortunate.
Yeah, look,
but that's where
I think the thing that sells, I think, clinches it as a heavy fighter rather than a ship with an interior is those two, what appear to be 2 big engines on either side of those, the 2 outtakes on behind those domes, giving it 3 engines. So not much room for an interior once you've got those 2 great big engines on it.
Now, I don't really know how to do this because there's a list here, right? And I could just bring up the list and poof, they're all there. Or I can kind of go through it and reveal it to you because you're here. I think that's how I'll do it. I'll do one at a time and then I'll bring the whole list up at the end. How's that sound? Right?
Yep. No,
so basically, we're going to knock off the common ones first that we already know. So along with these 2 images, there was a list of kind of deadline and ship names, right? So I'm going to start off the real obvious one. So, which I thought was really interesting because one of them actually kind of is very interesting. It kind of leads into a theory that Grim had, but me and Grim will talk about that in our private chats, I'm sure, at some point anyway. But the first one I'll kick off with is the Kraken, and it says deadline end of March 2027, which would line it up with Invictus, basically, like a month.
Which is what we've kind of expected and amused and postulated. So that sounds.
And so this is the one that Grim also postulated would come at Invictus, which is the Liberator, scheduled for the end of February, and it's currently behind schedule. But even then, that would make that potentially available for Invictus. But it almost looks like they're trying to do it before Invictus if it's ready for February.
No, that seems, again, reasonable.
Yeah. Right.
Although, if I consider it the worst of the ships and the Kraken the best, then trying to get it out beforehand. And
well, they're both like carriers. They both do the same job. I can see why Grim thinks they're coming at the same time. It does actually kind of make sense.
No,
we've kind of... It was not a thing that they would do, but then they did CitizenCon last year where they did 3 fighters exactly at the same time. Everyone's got this Kraken and it's like a mobile base thing. Oh, wait, by the way, there's a smaller version you can get and it's, I don't want to say reasonably priced, but it's a fair bit cheaper. It's like a third the price. So yeah.
No, I agree with both, and I could do it as, this is a cheaper one, we'll get it out earlier.
So as
the sales and then
Grim's got it here nice and simple. He says they will need a large ship to sell at DefenseCon. The Kraken will be limited and expensive. That's it.
Yep.
You got to see the thought pattern he's got there, and he's bringing me to his side slowly but surely. But it seems to be that they are building the Liberator with a rapid pace. But as they said, it is behind, but that still gives them 1, 2, 3 more months they can get it out the door.
And it does feel like that fits in with what CIG would do. So.
Yeah. All right, so the last 2 to get out of the way is the Anvil Auxiliaria, which is the deadline is the end of this month. So that would line it up for CitizenCon or IA, basically. And the second last one is the Grey Cat Fabricator, or what I'm going to call the Grey Cat Fab, as it should have been called, not the MFC, right? So yeah,
Fab.
Yeah,
not Fab.
We just need to start calling it Grey Cat Fab, and they will change the name. We'll just keep calling it, you know, Grey Cat Arm is what I would have called the first one, like Armory, and what's the other one? Turret. Or tar, or tur, or tr, like the cyclone. The brr. Yeah, there we go. The Grey Cat brr. Brr. Anyway.
Grey Cat go brr. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it would have been, you know, like these word salad acronyms are not working. And it's the same thing with the CSVSM and all. No, I'm sorry. You think they're cool? They are lame, and nobody is going to call them that because they are not memorable. If you can't remember it, you are never going to call it that. It's just that simple.
Yeah, unfortunately, you would have, if you're doing those kind of official names, it's a bit like the Gladiator. Now, I can't remember the actual Gladiator designation, but you know, ask Paul, it's the Gladiator.
All right. Now we've got a few other manufacturers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to ask you to just pick one, and I'm going to be honest, besides one, most of them are the wellish known manufacturers, right? I'll tell you right now, of the two, there is no Anvil and there's no Aegis, right? So pick one of the others that we want to hear about first.
No Anvil, no Aegis.
And one of the ships is an alien ship, so you can say alien, or you can say one of the other manufacturers, and I'll let you dictate where we go. So take your pick.
RSI.
Had a feeling you'd go there first. So the RSI Constellation series. Go ahead. What are we going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, because we've postulated the RSI Constellation does need a rework.
It's basically exactly what we said. Constellation getting a Mark V, Mark IV current model getting a gold standard, and the deadline is the 13th of October. What does that sound like? The 13th of October. Anyway, right, it's almost like I fucking called it to a T. Anyway.
But it also says it's a sunset of the current Constellation class.
Yeah, it's
and that kind of
it basically makes an AIE ship, in my opinion. If it's in end of October, you know, the following month, you've got basically
and I would bet you 10 to 1 it'll have a Dorito shape.
Well, again, we talked about that at length. I agree with you. I just took the Polaris, I shrunk it, and you have the 4 engines kind of break out of the Dorito shape. Here, shut up and take my money. Like I could see that without him blinking.
But you look at the RSI design ships, and all the Dorito ships are within the later period.
Yeah,
but none of them are in the newer period. So if you're doing a new Connie, it'll get the newer. It'll be the Piste Resistance. It's a ship it's the one that's got Chris's name on it. It's the one that's going to be awesome. The Mark IV.
And I reckon they'll probably make it modular. And my hope, and hopefully yours, is to break the Phoenix out of it. I think the Phoenix needs to be its own ship. I would, if I wanted to do it shorthand, I would literally take the Apollo and I would make it into a Phoenix.
Oh, and that's the other way they could go. Like the Apollo is kind of a last of the old styling before the new styling comes in. And the Apollo is now quite a large.
Yep, that's my point.
Quite a large ship. And
you only need 2 crew for it, right? And you basically might lose the ability to use the vehicle, but if you make that back area fully wide enough, right, you could just have that as a ramp that you drive up and you park your links in, right? And then the front area, it's already got the sunroof on the Apollo, and then you just put all your loft or whatever you want to call it in there, because that's kind of what it is, isn't it? It's it's your habitation area. Right, you know, you have your kitchen, you have your grand piano, you have your bed, and make it more like a studio apartment. I wouldn't have any walls or anything. I would have it like, in Prometheus, where David is first turned on. I think it's actually in Aliens Covenant they show the scene with Guy Pearce as Waylon, and he's walking around as the statue of David, and that's how he picks his name. But he's in that area that's just like completely open and just over the top, way too much space, but nothing in it. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that would work better in a ship like the Apollo. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I could say, ooh. Now Robert JT says they toss off a parasite ship because it was a gimmick. I think RSI, from what I understand, with the P-52-72, always wanted a snub ship for their constellation class ship.
Yeah.
And it was that Kruger said, "Hey, we'll build your little ship. We'll build a ship specifically for you."
I think that's the other thing they need to do is just make it so that it holds any snub.
Yep.
I would just make it a little landing bay. I wouldn't even worry about it being the Merlin and Archimedes. I would just build it.
No, they don't need to. And because Kruger have now gone out building their own ships, RSI could go, yeah, we don't need that anymore. We'll put a regular landing bay or pad.
I don't think that they would drop it completely because it is kind of a hallmark of that Connie series. But I don't think it specifically needs to be the Merlin. And I think it's a lot less work to just build a little room than it is to build a custom dock, which is again, they can move completely away from that now.
They can move completely away from that.
Yeah.
And having a little hangar makes sense. Having a little landing pad makes sense. They can do either. They've got ships with landing pads. They've got ships with hangars.
There's another.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is one more SI ship on the list. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. I also wonder if it means that the Merlin and the Archimedes might get a updo to Reno to go with the gold pass, but also the Mark V.
Yeah, well, it would be nice if I did.
So this is what.
Nice if they...
Go ahead.
I was going to say it'd be nice if they got a quantum.
No. Never gonna happen. Right. So I
can dream.
So the other one here is for September, which I reckon this. Looking through the list, there's 2 ships that are meant to be coming in September. So one of these is more than likely probably the month after, type of thing. But see, there's 3 ships in September. My bad. Is the RSI Skylark? I don't even know what the hell a Skylark is. What is a Skylark? A bird. Must be a up over thing. A Skylark is a brown speckled. Hang on, I'll put it on the actual website. I can read it. Famous for singing high in the air while it flies as a verb. A Skylark means to joke around or act in a silly or noisy way. Oh man, that's 100% the Mel. It's to annoy the shit out of you and distract you from the Connie.
Yep, it is the RSI replacement of a Kruger. Is what I.
So it's it might be the new Mark V snub.
And that makes sense, RSI have decided, yeah, we can make a sub. But why? Now I saw who said it in chat. Pete said he always found it seemed odd that RSI used Kruger for its snub on the Constellation. And part of that was due to the relationship that they had with Kruger. Kruger supplying all their key components and always getting them on time and all the rest of it. And when they were doing the Constellation, Kruger came up to RSI and says, "Hey, look, we will build you a snub for your ship." A bit like they did with the Avenger. They got their weapon put on the Avenger ship because it wasn't selling, because no one knew who Kruger were. But the manufacturers knew who Kruger were. And after the Kruger weapon went on the Avenger, people went, "Oh, this is a great gun." And it was the same type of idea in law behind putting the P-52 on the Constellation. People went, "Oh, this is a great little ship." But now RSI, as they move forward, don't really need to have Kruger make it. They're quite capable themselves. But back then it was a collab with a very trusted and reliable sub-manufacturer.
Super Vela, thank you for the Prime sub on. Right. Next manufacturer, please, sir. Take a pick.
Let's see, we've done RSI. Okay. Let's see. Pete is an Origin man, so I'll go with Origin.
The Origin M60, deadline 22nd of September. No context whatsoever, but knowing that we got combat fighter
80.
in the M80 and we got a racer in the M50, I'd have to assume that it's neither of those.
No,
so like a medium or a light fighter is where my brain goes.
My thought is the medium fighter, because the M80 is a heavy fighter.
Actually, mine goes the opposite. I think it's a light fighter, and I think if they make an M70, it'll be the medium.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I was going
light, medium, heavy.
M80, heavy fighter.
Yeah.
I was going M60 medium, because the M50, although it's a racer, was also used by advocacy as an interceptor.
Yeah.
And it's a light. So
what? Sorry, what was used?
It was a.
What? So you no? Sorry, some ship was used by the advocacy. What ship was that?
The M50.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember now.
Was designed as a interceptor to replace the Avenger, and so it's a light fighter. Fast
can you see how the M60 could be a modified M50 that is the actual ship you're talking about?
It could, yeah, it could be, because the M50 did go down more a racing line, and it is super fast, and it's got light weaponry. It is a fairly good light fighter, but if you do the M60 as proper light fighter, then the M70 becomes the medium fighter, and you've got a nice progression. So, yeah, I like that.
The other thing that starts to kind of shake out a little bit is if you are onboarding people on how to work on Origin, think about all the different sabers that came out. Now, all of a sudden, when you start to look at it, if they're working on Origin, well, they weren't working in the dark. Maybe there is 3 of them. An M60, an M70, and an M80. Right.
Yep.
And you and I have often talked about best to worst and stuff like that. And the pattern that we saw overall, like the overall pattern, was essentially biggest, smallest, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
And that makes sense.
So we've to re-describe that in fighter terms: heavy, light, medium.
Yep. And if you look at if the M50 had been an M40, then my postulation would be perfect, because you'd have a 10 gap between each. But you've got M50, M60, M70 missing, M80 heavy. So, yeah, I do think it is probably the light fighter, not a medium fighter, just because of the gap.
We'll have more information when it drops. It's September, so I'd assume that we're seeing it. To me, I don't know which, but I'd say one of those is probably October, and then the ones are, well, there's 3 ships in September, right? I'd say most of those are probably earmarked for IAE.
Now, if there is an M70 medium fighter, and if the M60 is a light fighter, what does that do to the 125A and the 325A?
They're generalists.
They're basically
they're generalists.
Okay, generalist fighters. Okay. So we're talking.
We're also talking.
Whereas they have cargo, we're talking about ships that.
So
what fighters, no cargo.
We're talking about a maturation of the game and things getting dropped off, right?
So these are special ships,
and these are the type of things where I think they need to, right? They're just going to leave them there, right? And there can be this old ship that you use. That's their approach, right? Because they can't give people refunds. They want to make new and updated things. But they say they're going to look after them. But you know as well as I do, are they going to look after the new shiny better than they look after the old penny?
Well, it depends whether you're.
They never quite put in the same effort with you, do they? Let's be honest. Any game under the sun, because more people are going to migrate. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the noise type of thing, and there are going to be more people on the new shit than on the old shit. So, yeah. And Pete, don't do that, because you're just going to piss people off. It goes, there's always the Mark III, right?
And there is, unfortunately.
Well, there is. That is going to be a fact of life.
And it is something like, I hate the Mark III. I hate the Mark IIs, or the sunsetting of ships that we've got before the game is really out.
That's the big stinger.
Right. It's not that they're bringing up these new variants, because that's something we were always told would happen.
Yeah.
That they'd bring out a new ship, and our old ships would kind of be like the, classics and the old cars, and as time would go on. But the thing that kind of gets you is the game's not fully out, it's not really released, and ships that you've had are being sunsetted because they can't just keep them up with the creep.
Yeah.
But it just has that dirty feel. And it's the type of thing I'd kind of wish when they bring out a new ship, they just give you that opportunity to transition straight across.
Yep.
And I know when they've done it in the past, people have, no, I don't want to change because I like the old ship. But so it is a catch-22 for them. But I don't like it. Hey, what can I say?
Rabbit says, when are we going to get used ship shop with Mark 1s for sale? I don't think we ever will. I think they'll be like, there'll be a rep grind thing, right? So you basically, I'd have to think of a backstory here, but like akin to, you go down the Anvil line and you get all the Anvil ships, you get your Mark II Hornet and stuff like that, and you become friends with some greasy mechanic guy, and he says, I've got some really old, he's about to retire or whatever, like Algared's Taylor or whatever. And basically he goes, I've got some old shit if you do some favors for me. So you go down this quest line and grind for like 10 hours or whatever, and it becomes this really rare achievement thing. That's how I've always seen where they would go.
And he'd give you the access to.
They're not just going to have something where you go in and you buy it. They legitimately want these things to be rare.
Yeah, and I could see other places where you get like you go to an old battle site, or you're going around an area, an old Tavaran world.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Moon,
yeah, just find one. You find one damaged.
You find a destroyed carrier in one of the hangars of the.
Well, they allude to that a little bit with the Banu Defender commercial.
Yeah.
So something akin to that. So you might be able to find a damaged one and get the pieces and repair it yourself as well. That might be the quest chain.
Yep.
Find the left wing, find the right wing, find the ball turret,
And it, like that type of thing, like I remember Disco talking about when he wanted his jalopy. He wanted to go in and find the wings and the parts and put it all together. So, doing something with the old classics works. I could see them doing, you do a mission and you find the parts. I could see them doing missions where you find a wreck.
It's probably going to be
cash.
It's probably going to be everything in between. Because they're not going to want all missions to be exactly the same. Let's be honest, right? And a Mark 1 Aurora as opposed to a Mark 1 Constellation, there is a significant difference in work involved, right? Yeah. So obviously it's going to be like one's going to be like harder to get than the other and stuff like that. So yeah.
And look, and I find it hard to believe that people like Elliot aren't already thinking about that type of the creative use of the missions. I could see them thinking, oh yeah, we can be the prize of the end goal of a chain. To me, it like you said, it feels like a no-brainer. It's the type of thing you do to make them still available, and you don't have to worry about selling them. So yeah,
I'd be again. I think if you okay, so I don't even know how to address this because this is going to be a can of worms. So I want to make this short and sweet. Let's just not go down the gun path on this one. Citizen Wake says, CIG, too many ships to keep up with as it is. They're going to sunset some of these old ships. They are likely not selling well either anymore. They don't want to spend capital on it. Right. Now, if I stand back and look at this as a grand generalization, the more unique your ship is, more likely it's not going to get sunsetted. So what is the most common ship in the game? Fighters. Right? So they're the shit that's going to get sunsetted more likely than anything else. Right? And I mean this by or they're going to tread on each other more than not. Again, we are seeing Mark II Hornet, Auroras. It's the smaller ships down the bottom that they're not going to, the Endeavor. Well, the Endeavor's not even out yet. It's never been made. So it doesn't need a marking. That's my point, right? So if you've got something that's bigger and bolder and all like that, as Algared and I have been kind of encouraging more people to do because they're the better value for money, you're not going to get sunsetted. take too much effort to build. But a fighter, they're popping them out like they're rabbits. They're just got a couple of rabbits in a pen and they've turned into 57. Like bang.
You look at the top 5, the first 5 ships: Aurora, Sunsetted, Mark II.
Wait. Sorry. Pete just said Reclaimer is getting Mark II according to the monthly report. Where the fuck did it say that? I did not say that. Link, please, and line. Pete, Pete, get in here. Yeah.
Hang on. No, you got to. No, you got to do it this way. Piss Pop Pete. Piss Pop Pete. Piss Pop Pete. You say his name 3 times, he appears.
Oh, okay. He's like what's that guy? The Sandman. What's the hell's that guy's name?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Get in here, Pete.
No, it's not working.
Tell us where it is. I'm gonna open the monthly report. You're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is now, punk. Because that don't make no sense to me. Here's the monthly report. So this isn't live. I'm gonna have to go back in time. Hang on. This week. Doesn't monthly report. All right, we got it up. Waiting on Pete. We're all waiting on Pete. Nobody's waiting, Pete. Nobody's waiting. He said the Reclaimer. Where the fuck is the Reclaimer? I didn't see any mention of Reclaimer in the arts ships. Let me find it. Oh, all right, he's got to make it up with AI. All right. Well, we'll wait for him. While we're waiting for Pete to get his shit together, you've got 2 ships left, mate. You want to take your pick?
All right. Okay, got to go Drake.
The Drake Marauder. Deadline 19th of October. So that's a little later. That makes me think December ship. I could be wrong on that, but that's where my brain kind of goes. Again, if you what is a Marauder? Marauder is a person or animal that roams from place to place to attack, loot, steal, and destroy. So it does sound like a fighter to me. As in,
it sounds like
type
of thing that the Cutlass originally type.
And they've been on a heavy fighter trip. I think it's a heavy fighter. It sounds heavy, like if you've got a Buccaneer, a Marauder sounds a bit more chunky than a Buccaneer. But that's my brain.
I'll go down that line. And how long have we been saying they need a heavy fighter? So. But yeah, I look at the ships that are getting sunsetted that we know of, or have been sunsetted, which sticks out to me because they're 3 of the first 5: the Aurora, the Hornet, and the Constellation. The 2 smallest ones, Hornet and Aurora, they were light fighters or fighters, so they needed to be redone. The Constellations always had problems, and the last 2 are the Freelancer and the 300 and the 300 series.
Yep.
So if you go 300 series, it's kind of getting a rework or a break with the fighters, the M80, the M70, the M60.
Yep.
Then that's kind of been sunsetted or done.
Real quick question there.
The other 3.
Just
question where what Drake gets, and Drake, the Cutlass was always a bit of a problem just because of not the Drake Cutlass, the 300i series done. Freelancers, they're probably that's probably the series that's in the best place of those 5.
I didn't even really think of that until Cody said that. So Cody says, Cody Fox says, I like the idea of a Drake version of the Perseus for the Marauder, and I didn't even think of something bigger. You know why I haven't thought of something bigger? Because they've been making all these shitty little fighters for the last 2 or 3 years. My brain's been wired to just expect a shitty fighter at this point. But he's right. It is coming around. It is coming out around about October. You've had the Ironclad made. Could you have I'm just going to theory craft it out there. Where my brain goes,
My brain goes.
Well, we've already got the caterpillar. We've already got the ironclad. But you tell me where your brain goes. Then go ahead.
My brain goes in terms of that comment. What ship are you seeing all the time in the flight squadron, the squadron battle, the strike groups? You're seeing Perseus all the time. You're seeing Perseus, you're seeing Idrises, you're seeing others. Manufacturer for a ship the same size as the Perseus.
But they already have a ship in every size.
Yep.
Except.
Yep, and that's the problem there.
One. That's the Odyssey Polaris size. So could the Marauder, right? Not there's anything in names with these guys, but a person or animal that roams from place to place to attack, loot, steal, and destroy. So it makes me think of it's more of a little bit of a base-like thing, which would... So a Polaris competitor is essentially what I'm talking about, is a Drake Polaris, right? But instead of being like the Polaris, what if it's more like the Perseus? AKA a bigger Drake Perseus. We don't have that, and it would work.
I could see them kind of a ship in between the Perseus and the Polaris, kind of, is what you're seeing.
Yeah. Well, well, take the Perseus and basically make it as big as a Polaris, is what I'm saying. So maybe it's like 3 turrets, and look. Let's be honest. It's not going to have the Medusa turrets on it, right? But I'm saying akin to, right? What would Drake do if they did a Perseus? Well, they'd make it bigger and sexier, and you get where I'm going, right? So if you remove the torpedoes of a Polaris and you're making it more pirate-like, so it's for looting, right? So it's obviously going to have some kind of cargo, right? But then you just cover it in turrets and stuff. You see where I'm going, right?
It's a sunsetting of a Corsair because they're bringing up a bigger version.
You wish.
But yeah,
it could also just be a heavy fighter. Because I looked down that list, right, and if you seriously look down the list, the only kind of known big ships that are not a single seat type of thing is basically the Connie, the Liberator, and the Kraken. And knowing we also don't have a medium ship, right? Because normally you get that let's look at the history. So Spirits, Zeus, MSR, it goes on and on and on and on and on. That September to October, round Citizen Con is where that medium thing came. There's no medium thing. Unless the last ship on the list could be it. And I have suspected that this could be the medium. So you want to talk about that? I can't hear you, Algared. You've never sounded sweeter.
Right. I muted myself when somebody was leaving.
Oh, okay, right. Well, sorry to see you go. You want to have a guess what the last manufacturer is?
I'm hoping that it's they manufacture a Banu one, but I'm gonna drift and save it at another
what? You cut out again.
Unless I'm gonna go on a limb. It's a Tavaran. There you go.
Oh, totally. I wish. No, it's a good tack, but
that was the one I was trying to...
There's gonna be so many memes about this ship because it sounds like a sexual grunt. It's the Gatak Hyun. So
the strained muscle there, yeah.
Or they could just make the H silent and call it the Yun. Either or, it's a lot easier. They've finally learned that we're not going to say their bullshit names. The Yun or the Kyun, whatever they want to call it. Right? I'm sure there's Is there a Chinese person in chat? or someone that speaks Chinese, because I would argue that is the closest to how it would sound. So if you speak Chinese or you know about, there it's high yen. So it's yen, not yan. High yen.
I'd go Hyan.
Hayan. I'm just gonna call it Hyundai. Right, the Hyundai, the Gatak Hyundai. Right, the stick if I say too much.
It's a racer.
Right, yeah. I do find it funny when I come up with these weird names and then I hear people 6 months later saying them and they're like on an official podcast or something. I'm like, oh yeah, the Gatak Hyundai. What the fuck have I done? But yeah, I just it brings the biggest amusement to me that I can kind of fuck with people's heads with the jokes that I come up with. But anyway, right, way more than I ever did when I did stage shows. But long story short, 30th of September, so that would put it directly in the time frame for CitizenCon, or that time frame.
I'd love to see more IOPA ships.
Well, you and I also go back to when we talked about Attack, though, not to get off the topic as you were trying to do, but we had the Saulian, then we had the Raelian. I did say at the time, what if there's a medium there?
Yep.
And I reckon that is a now top contender for a medium.
I would not disagree with you. It does kind of.
They also stated that there was another industrial ship still to come this year. So that would imply that that is a medium, that the highest likelihood is that's a medium industrial. What industrial that is?
Attack is supposed to be industrials type.
Someone look up. Someone go. Can we go into the dictionary? Because I know I did this with the last one, and it was. So we're gonna do it again. In citizen language. What does high-end mean? I'll bring you guys over and we can just see what it says.
Yep. This has also got a possible idea. It's a
look, you guys say people get really mad when I use AI. AI, you know what it does? It just speeds it up. Instead of me having to go look for all the shit, it just speeds it up. Right? But it literally says high-end is line. Zion language from Sarsen, the word high-end or high-end translates to line. But that's about as vague as vague.
It's a racing ship. It goes fast.
It's the funniest joke you've ever said. That's my type of humor. Well done. That's funny as fuck. Yeah.
Said it a dozen times, but I think I was muted last time. Yeah.
That's good. I like that. Yeah.
It's Schrodinger's cat. It's the
all right, so
Doppler effect.
That's an insult linked. Hang on, he's done the Zion dictionary. I'm wondering if it's exactly the same link that's in front of me. Oh, I can't copy that.
It will be the same link.
Open link. Gotta open it. Welcome to the Zion dictionary. Does it actually have it in there? Lion, Zion family clan name. I know that's mixing up my languages. It doesn't. You're not helping. Where the hell is the high end? Oh god, I can't do it with this Twitch.
You'd have to do a construction.
It opens it. It's in its own like custom browser. It's weird. Right, let's try copying that. See if that works. And then going back to here, and we'll open a new one in case this is bugged. Yep. Wait. Oh, I can't get off this goddamn thing.
So that's an insult stat. It's part roll function.
What?
High-end, not high-end. Yep, we've already got that.
Yep. All right, and then we'll search for high Y. Oh god, how long is this fucking thing? C-E-H, here we go. H-Y-H. H-E-H-O-H-U. Oh, here we go. Hyan. Is it Hyan or Hyan? What the? I don't remember that.
Someone's saying it's Hyun.
It's Hyun.
U-N, not E-N.
Hyun. Hyun. All right. Part, role, or function. Well, that does lead into the industrial thing. So function. I'd say it's the function part.
Well, and that kind of says, and Gardak is supposed to be industrialist, so
I'm gonna bet some money that is only half the title. It'll be like the Huan, but like where they Ray Len or Su Len or Fu Li Wei or whatever. Like, again, that's the first word. There's clearly another one coming. I'd bet money on it. I'd bet a lot of money on it.
You'll see that each one will have its own different, or if it's a variant, you'll see each variant will have a different name.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point there. Socially Confused brings that up. Part hits at crafting. A medium alien crafting ship.
Yep.
It tracks. We've just had the auxiliary and the fab in that list.
Yep.
So that tracks. That absolutely tracks.
No, it does, and that ties in with things. I keep coming back to what John Crew said, about the different ships and what they do, and get two ships there. What they do is exactly the same under the hood, but they look totally different.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Socially, who was it? Who said that? There was two people that said it. I'm trying. Robert JT and Socially Confused both said a generalist, and they're right. We were meant to get a generalist this year, and we haven't got a generalist.
And if it's got a bit of crafting in it, and part crafting, yeah, I could see it.
So what? Well, I can too, sadly. And if it's a medium in size ship and it's alien, based on the Clipper, I'd have to assume 2 to 3 people. So it's like a step up above the Clipper. And being, Cyan, be pretty well.
Dom 44919 says the monthly report did say a Xi'an generalist as well.
Ah, really? Well, I don't know now, because apparently it says the Reclaimer Mark II's coming, and I don't see anything in there about it, but apparently I'm starting to hear a lot of rumors and lies, especially from those British people. They're
yep. Maybe their monthly report's different from ours. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The water they're drinking is different, who knows?
Yeah,
who knows what it is.
Yeah, the Katak Clipper. Yeah. But yeah, no, okay, I could see that. That'd be kind of cool. Whereabouts does it say the monthly report? Because look, I do have the monthly report up. I do want to look at least the one about that. Where the hell? I mean, I closed it. Oh, there it is. So he said generalist. So the generalist. No, the word general comes up. Wait a minute. No. General. There are no words for general. I feel like I'm being lied to again, Eric. Oh, it's last month's report now, and then it'll be the month before that. All right, well, send me. Someone send me a clip, an image, and I'll have a look at it in a minute then. But that list overall, Algared, as I said to you before we started the stream today, is almost like a silhouette video.
It is like a silhouette video. I can see we'll get lots of.
CIG, take note. You're going to get more news off that list than you have off anything else all year.
Yep.
Content creators are going to be talking about that shit for the next 6 months, if not longer. Yep. That's why you do the silhouette videos.
Yeah, I think you're right. And given that you're not doing the concept sales anymore, concept sales actually generated talk about that particular ship, and so it generated sales. You do your silhouette video, your silhouette list, or whatever you want to call it, and put it out. You're effectively giving us a concept of what it looks like without giving us a concept sale. and we'll talk about it. We will talk about it till the cows come home, and we'll let our imaginations run rampant. And then it's, are we right? Are we wrong? And
you can't do any of that with something that just releases, because it's all there. There's nothing to imagine anymore. There's nothing like
Discord, mate.
Once you talk to, once it's out, right? There's nothing to speculate on. There's nothing new to talk about. It is what it is, you know. And we can do a buyer's guide on it and talk about it. And you just sent me the monthly report for June. You didn't say where it was.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know who's linked this, but okay. So this is the monthly report that he's talking about. All right, let's search for general.
Sent the link to you.
Second new Zion ship from management designed to fill. Oh, I do remember this actually. The second new ship from the Zion manufacturer. I was bringing you guys over. I forgot to do that. My bad. The second new ship from the Zion manufacturer designed to fill a generous role entered pre-production.
Yep. And that would be the.
Unless that said pre-production. That's pre-production, and this is only back in June. Are you telling me they polished off that whole ship in 6 months?
They
picked up speed, if that's the case.
It's a in which case it's another variant of the Thulian,
the Thulian or something. But it could be. It could be, but maybe it's not a whole new ship. Maybe it is a variant, but it does say it's a generalist.
Yep, and a generalist array, and we postulated a Raylan would work well as a generalist ourselves, you know, if you things out. So I could see him. And you know, the Thule was not seen as it's seen as a separate ship, not seen as a variant. Well, even though we know it is.
I've got no interest in another variant of another ship like the Raelian, whatever. I just drops it off for me completely. I was very disappointed with it. Oh no, I'm not the only. Anyway, all right. Well, let's stay optimistic. Let's hope it's something new and fantastic. I've got some stuff to look forward to now. That's my takeaway. You know, I've got some ships there in a list that I can go back and look at, and I do know me and Grim are going to be doing a lot of chatting in the next couple of weeks about that shit. Yeah, I don't know if I was doing a recorded video here, I'm going to be saying, let me know in the comments below what you're most looking forward to.
What do you think? Are we on too much crack? Are we
But that's the thing. Like when I don't know, like when I only know the one in front of me, right? And the only one we know about him is from leaks now, right?
Yep.
I've got nothing to look forward to. This list gives me something to look forward to.
Stuff to nut our brains out and see if we can work it out.
We're just knowing the new ship is coming. I don't care because I don't know what it's going to be.
Yep.
I've got
and if I can't see anything. Again, I don't care.
I've got nothing out in the horizon. It's just this black void that I'm moving into more black void. Yeah. No, Nosegray's market. I'm going to be honest. It took almost a year from the Shiv to the Basher. I think you're going to be waiting close to that amount of time again until you see whatever the medium one is. And there's also there's two left there now. There's the Aurora Monstrosity thing, which I think you may or may not see because it was based on the old Aurora, and the Mustang Hornet Cross, which I think would be the medium, and I think that's probably the most likely candidate for next time. You correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Algared. It's the theory time based on the worst to best thing. We've been seeing a lot of light and heavy fighters over the last couple of years. I think the Marauder is probably going to be one of, if not the last heavy fighter we see for a while. And I think that'll then mean they start to move into the mediums.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's an area where we're short. If you look at the fighters, we've got heavies, we've got lights. We don't have that many medium fighters.
Yeah. And knowing how popular Drake was, I just get the feeling that's why it's coming at the end. because they knew it like again, you always sell best to worst because you make more money. Oh, sorry, worst to best because you always make more money, right? So knowing how popular and people have been asking it for years, well, I always knew that mean it was going to come at the end. So if it does turn out to be a heavy fighter and not like a Polaris Perseus looking contraption, here I'm going, right? I think we're gonna
wait for the Marauder Steel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I could see that Drake light fighter based on the old Aurora hull coming, because you don't use as many assets, but it's totally different weapon systems, so you can muck around with it.
I said was, I'm sorry. I said was, I meant is. Sorry. Yeah, Drake is very popular. I just said was in past tense. My bad. Sorry, I got to correct myself.
No. So I could see that grey market ship coming, the light fighter based on the old Aurora hull coming, but for the reasons you said you didn't see it, because it's been sunsetted and they don't have to work on it, I could see that as well. But it's still in the ship assets pile, so
this makes it a weird ship to work on, does it not?
Yep, it does. But because the ship because you're mashing a whole pile of different things together, it is a totally different ship, and you're not recreating assets, so it would save a bit of time. And you're changing the weapons and the crap ships anyway.
Depends how they put them together, because if they don't have to re-unwrap pieces, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I could see it going both ways personally. I really can.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I could see it coming. Like you said, you could see it not coming because of.
I can see it coming in both regards. It's just do they want to retain older assets and keep them around, or do they? Well, it's going to be very telling. Let's put it that way. If it does come out, it shows their commitment to older stuff. If it doesn't, well, then I'd almost say it's a sign that they're not going to be looking after the older stuff as well as they should.
I think that what you just said there is probably the most telling thing we'll get. If they're using the old assets in new ships and old ship hulls in ships, then it does give an indication that they're going to keep maintaining those old ships rather than just let them rot. But if they do disappear, if they don't use it, and you never see them getting used or pulled into rubber ships, then it probably is a sign. Those old ships are going to do.
One last thing before we move on to the questions, I just want to go back to one thing. I just noticed there was one little thing that we didn't go over, and it's just tiny little thing I want to go over. Very simply, price. What do you think?
Heavy fighter?
Yeah,
heavy fighter, luxury. If it's a heavy fighter and it's luxury, kind of fitting into the Kruger luxury line, it has to be priced around the same price as the end.
And the Eclipse was 300. Here I'm going, right? Like, this is a very expensive ship all of a sudden. It's up there with the Matey, which was $300. Like, it's very hard to escape the 300 price barrier at this point, right? So I'm just going to say around 300 and leave it there, because I think it's a very... it's almost like a foregone fucking conclusion.
If it's a heavy fighter, my gut goes same price as the Matey. But given the look and the way it folds up very much like an Eclipse, I could see it being very similar. F8C competitor 300 is what we're also saying. 350, but around 300. Yeah, I could easily see it falling there. Do I like that?
God. No. Read what Pete said, because the last part's classic. Right,
medium heavy bomber.
Wait. We have to say and state that this was a shit ton of cope, right? The last part is with cope. So read it and then pause after the last comma and then read it. Read the last sentence.
So medium heavy bomber, 300. If it floats, 350 plus.
Plus cope is what it should say.
Submarine? Yeah.
If it floats, it costs more. Yeah. Yeah, like it would be kind of cool to have this kind of man array looking thing that could that could float and stuff, but like probably got no need to. Especially if it's a fighter bomber.
It'd be nice to see, given that we do know there are water worlds and other stuff, it'd be nice to see a ship that could go into those environments. So,
but yeah,
very much.
If they make a variant of this, Manta Ray's got to be the name of the other one. Stingray and Manta Ray, it kind of writes itself, doesn't it?
It does.
I just can't escape the S-65 stealth bomber, which excuse me. Which now I see it, and the similarity to the Eclipse, really hard for me to escape that tag.
Well, if you lower those wings down flat, cannot tell me that is not a Horton flying wing.
I think. Give me a second. They did include a third picture that was not official. This is from a World War II thing, but is that the thing you're talking about?
That's the Horton flying wing. Yeah.
Which is the image that they link. So this is clearly the inspiration for the Stingray. And what did this do, Algared? You're a World War II historian buff person.
It was supposed to be a long-range bomber.
German, yeah? From what I can tell of the wings?
Yeah, Horton bomber. It was German. It was supposed to be able to fly.
Oh, so it never really saw combat.
Never really built it. Never really finished it, but it was it was a bomber. It was basically where the American stealth bombers get their name from,
So it's basically they kind of just took their tech and advanced it off World War II, and that's where the stealth bombers came from. Okay, right, got it.
But the Germans were building this as a long-range bomber, or the Horton bombers were hopefully to be able to bomb America, type of thing. I don't think that version was, but they certainly had a big one on the board planning.
So taking that,
when that's opened up,
taking the part where you said long range bomber, what if it's a long range Eclipse? That starts to make a lot of sense due to the size now, because it's a lot bigger than
those big engines as well.
A lot bigger than an Eclipse. So again, it does fill another niche. It's a long range stealth bomber. Saying the same pieces there, and they're kind of lining up.
And when you put it up, and I was just sitting there, and I was thinking, if those wings fold down, just reminds me of the bomber. The Horton bomber literally was like a manta ray shape with that kind of swept back into that pointed tail. And when the wings go down, you do have that general shape of a Horton bomber. I can't unsee that now.
Now, apparently, this is rumored to have 3 states, right? In one of the monthly reports, might be the same one that we looked at. Just
a ship with three states, and it was the one that had weird animations for getting in and out.
So
as well?
Well, potentially, right? But what would the 3 states be? I've got wings up, wings down, and wheels
wings up, wings down. But
what's the third one? Because that's not landing mode doesn't really count, right? In that regard, unless it's moving the wings for landing. But that's the same as folding the wings up and folding the wings down. What's the third one? The only other thing it's not the doors, because they said it's 3 states and it's the first ship to ever do so. So it can't be like an Eclipse, because the Eclipse would have already had 3 states if that's the case. Shut the fuck up, Pete. Oh my god. He says float. Float state. I'm going to be in a Zen state in a minute when I come over there and slap you silly.
Pete's very fortunate that he lives in England.
Yeah, because he'd be dead if he lived in Australia.
So far for you to get. Like, that's why I'm safe, because it's so far for Execute to come up to Sydney and beat me up.
I wouldn't beat you up. You do it.
I'm lucky that he doesn't live in Sydney. That's all I can say.
I'll just put your shit outside and let the hooligans up there take care of you. And all the knife attacks you. Anyway, first time chatter, Zoltan says
the wings fly, go the other way and it walk.
Maybe something with the tail. Yeah, it brings out a stingray and stabs you. Steve Irwin's you. Maybe it's a special attack mode for the bombs or something of that caliber. Like so you go into some kind of mode to drop the bombs. That's the only thing I can think of. Or the torpedoes. It's some kind of special firing mode. Because as we said, if it is a long-range bomber, there's only one person, then how do you fire it yourself? See where I'm getting at?
That means those red things could actually be bomb rack.
Yes.
I'm just just tossing things out there. And
didn't they also have wind sensors or some shit like that back in the day? I know on modern airplanes they have these little things that freaking stick out in their sensor things, the weather and shit.
Oh, they have the radar and radio antenna.
Oh, that could literally be it right there. I'm an idiot. You're absolutely right. No. Rams. I can't say last name. I'm just going to butcher it, so I'm just going to say Rams. Stealth mode, like the Terrapin, it shuts itself down.
Yep. And you saw that little thing. I did think of that.
Closes the engine bays or whatever. Yeah, that's what it is. Yes, that's got to be it.
Or the third mode is, and I can't see it on this image, but Rabbit said, what if the delta wings actually close in for speed?
Again, I'd say that again. The S and the look. I read this months ago. People were talking about the S63 Stingray, and that it has to have something to do with stealth. And I was at the time I dismissed it, right? But now I've got this in front of me. I can't not see it. And think about it. If you're coming into bomb and you've just got an incredibly long range and you've got 3 stances, the only other ship I know that has a stance like that is the Terrapin. So if you stealth and go into a bomb mode, like, it makes so much sense.
And you know why the American current bomber, the kind of one looks like has that shape, and borrowed it from a Horton bomber, because it was a stealth ship. It was almost invisible to radar just because of the shape. The B whatever the B bomber is, the B1s or whatever they are now. The Horton bomber was stealth.
When I look at it, you said about folding the wings in. Who said that in chat? But that would be the normal mode for me, right? Normal flight mode would be as fast as possible in a straight line. Then you go into stealth mode, and it kind of like stabilizes so you can drop the bomb. You drop your signature to basically 0, so you can get the bomb out. They can't see you.
Yep. And from the eclipse, if you're in an eclipse and you pretty much shut things down, you could get right up to someone. People wouldn't see you on their scanners until it was, there's a torpedo coming right at me. Yeah. It's kind of like cloak mode.
There's no cloak mode. No cloaking in Star Citizen.
So in Star Citizen, cloak mode is basically you're invisible and censored because you've kind of shut everything down, but you can always be seen by the naked eye.
Yeah, no invisibility. There's no invisibility at all. Yeah, unsold. Yeah, well, that's tough shit, Spike. It's just the signature goes really low down, and you can see that on some of the ships already. Like, I think it's the Talon or the Strike, and I've even done it in small snubs like the Pisces. You can turn your electronic signatures, your shields off.
And you become.
You just turn your engine pip to 1, your life support to 1, and nothing else is on. And your signature is just like tiny. You go down to like under 100 meters. And you can just, And I'll give an example. We were doing. You were there, Algared, but you turned up late. What we were doing? We were doing the. The one where you put in all the cards, executive hangars. Right, and we're doing this as an org, and another org came in, and they had purses and stuff, and they saw how big we were, and left. Then they came back, and they turned up in the facility. We had no idea how they got in the facility, and I said, "They've stealthed in." And they go, "What do you mean?" I said, "They've come in on a really small craft, because they had about 10 of them on it, and they've just packed them all standing, turned the signature to 0, and just flown right past us all."
Yep,
that's how they got in.
Yep, and they got in. And that's how they got into the facility where the org was. And then their Polaris got seen again. And
so there is a need, like we know that the scanning is on the cusp. We know there's a lot of things on the cusp. Stealth is a part of the scanning and the signature gameplay. We are on the cusp of this. We are not far off to this being really cool.
Yep. And the beauty of ships like that, and even the beauty of a problem that we had with stealth coming in, is the fact that, it now puts a position where you actually want a ship that's keyed for scanning and actually dedicated just to checking and doing stuff.
Look, that rock came out of nowhere. It was in the gas cloud, and I didn't die. So anything you walk away from, right? And it was this tiny little piss ant rock in the gas, and it got me. It was really annoying. And I survived, unlike the other person that had all the components on their ship that crashed into the rock and lost all the components. So I can't remember who that was, but he was the one that shouldn't have had.
Who that was?
But he shouldn't have had
flying the nice little ship out of the hangar with the really nice components.
Yeah, he was in a brand new Cutlass Black that he got from the executive hangars. He stocked it up full of components and then crashed into a rock.
Yep. I know.
So, any accident you walk away from. And I just went back to...
And he didn't walk away from that one.
I just went back to checkmate. I just went back to checkmate and repaired. But mine was unintentional. Like, again, if you saw the gas cloud... And my turret gunner said the same thing. He's like, I can't even believe we survived it. Let alone, I didn't even see it, he said. I said, yeah, well, that's the thing. Out of nowhere.
It is the decent that you do occasionally get.
Oh, yeah. And I had been getting it all night anyway. Anyway, I digress. We're carrying about nothing. Right. Question time, Algared. We are 1 hour and 46 minutes. We're past the halfway point. We talked a lot today. I think you can already tell what this week's episode's going to be. It's going to be us talking about these ships and speculating the high end what they could be. So yeah, if you're on the Discord, feel free to get in one of the channels, probably just general, and tell me what you think they could be, because we'll probably go through and I want little evidences. I don't want you to just go, it's an ice cream cone making machine. I want to know why. Like, what evidence do you have?
Why do you think that?
Yeah. So, and it doesn't have to be every ship. Like, if you think the RSI Skylark and you go blah 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 blah, like what we said, because sounds like it could be a Merlin competitor to the Connie type of thing, or could it just be an RSI snub that fits into the snub list? Who cares,
It would be nice, even if it's a RSI snub, it would be nice if that snub also fitted into the old Connies. But
right, mate,
I don't see that happening.
Yep.
So anyway, first question off the rack was Citizen Wake. Do you guys peek at the leak in the ships?
No, we didn't look at the leak at all. We refused to.
D283W says, not sure if you've seen the leak stuff. Yes, we have.
No, we didn't look at it. No, refused to look.
But the Expanse was not in the list. Do you think the refinery gameplay has been delayed to 2027?
It's always possible, but you got to also remember, and I've said this to Grim again and again, and he disagrees with me, and that's fine. He can totally disagree. But Algared, weigh in here. If you have a new gameplay comes out, does it tend to come with a ship that we already know about, or a completely new ship that we've never ever heard about?
Usually, especially if the ship is in game, you'll get the new ship with stuff, and the old ship still doesn't get upgraded, like the Reclaimer. If it's a ship that's not been put in game yet, we might get that ship plus another one. Yeah, but yeah.
Actually,
usually with a new ship.
Actually, it usually is. I'd actually take it a step further. If the ship has already been concepted, you won't get that at all. And if it's a ship that's already in game, like a Reclaimer, it'll get some form of update in, if not exactly the same time, in very short order after. So think about when the Vulture came out. All the stuff on the Vulture pretty much instantly worked on the Reclaimer. You see where I'm going? So if it's in game, it's actually the inverse of what you said, right? But if I was going to bring out a refinery, would I go in and do an Expanse or do the Galaxy? No, I would not. I would make something whole and completely new. And you're right, it's not on that list, but there's nothing to say one of those ones on the list isn't a refinery.
Yep. And what I was saying is that, like, the Reclaimer did get the stuff, but it was kind of jury rigged in. It's like,
yes,
it's got a 30% faster doing it because they haven't as a buff, not.
Well, according to Pete, it's getting a Mark II. Didn't you hear? Like, he is the source of all wisdom.
I did hear him.
I did hear him say just remember when you say that the Reclaimer is getting Mark II'd, by piss poor Pete. Add that connotation, because until it's proven, he goes down with that ship when it doesn't come true. So,
yeah, we've heard.
Poor Pete said that the Reclaimer is getting Mark II. That is the headline. Until he finds the evidence, because then I can remove that.
We heard it was getting a rework.
Do you have a moment?
Mark II.
Yeah, sure. I want a fucking moment. That's why I haven't said it, because I knew you'd come in if I said it like that. Why? Where's this link?
The views of Piss Poor Pete are not representative of those of Robert Space Industries, its subsidiaries or partners. Pete sometimes makes stuff up and forgets stuff.
So Pete's drunk again. Right, okay, good to know.
I couldn't find the link.
And forget stuff.
Where did you think you'd seen it? I would have heard about it. It's on my favourite ship. Algared would have heard about it. It's one of his favourite too. That's why we're like, what?
Yep.
I definitely read it somewhere, but I can't find where. You know how normally my streams at the minute are just me sitting there reading walls of text.
Okay. Real quick.
I definitely read it somewhere.
Real quick, anyone in chat heard anything about a Mark II on a Reclaimer besides today? In anything they've read in how long ago would you say? In the last 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
Anyone heard anything?
Please, somebody back me up. Otherwise, I'm delusional and need hospital assistance.
The only thing I heard, Pete,
that's guaranteed.
The only thing I'd heard, and I'm pretty certain you're the same, is that the Reclaimer was getting rework. And a rework is not the same as
nothing official. I haven't heard anything official about a rework. But pretty much we can almost guarantee with what they're doing with the Caterpillar, they're going to do the same with the Reclaimer. PD being called out. No. So nobody can confirm for you, Pete. So I think.
Okay, Citizen Wake says the only thing they heard was about the reworks coming. This was not by Citizen, and they said it's not the Reclaimer. So there you go.
I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard something about this week about the Retaliators being Mark II, and I can't remember where I heard that. But clearly,
that'd be an interesting one.
Clearly, wherever I heard that, it was on someone's stream. I think it was. But now I've seen this list. I think it's got to be the Connie. So,
yeah. Well, Anvil's not on the list, so.
JC is a liar and a troll. Yeah. I also think JC is very based. Did you see what he? Did you see what he said about Binface? What's he called? Trash Can Man? What Pete, you're from the
Binface,
UK.
Yeah.
What's his name? Binface?
Count Binface?
Yeah, he won. He did a post saying he's looking forward to his win. And I had a video of him doing a speech saying that he won, so I sent it to Chuck. He won't reply, but I just found it funny.
That's sad, but
my favorite one was, remember that guy that was God, I can't remember who he was. And I know someone in chat will know this, but he did a ficus plant, and he got the ficus plant to run for some political thing, and they won, but the political people wouldn't let the plant stand for parliament or whatever. They just denied all the votes or whatever, even though he clearly won the entire vote, this ficus plant. And it was, this was we're going back to towards 2000 here, so it was a long time ago. And this guy did lots of documentaries and stuff. And I know someone will know what I'm talking about, but he was before his time, that guy.
Caleb X in Twitch says, I thought John Crew mentioned the Reclaimer needing to be reworked because of the elevators, making it easier to unload it. And he thought it was in a Q&A section. And I think it was I kind of heard that at the, came out of a Hong Kong or Chinese bar citizen.
Oh, that was, yeah.
And the recent one, that's where I remember hearing it, but it was kind of their unofficial statement. And it was a statement that it needed reworking, not Mark IIing. And it was addressing the problems that we've known the Reclaimer has for so long. And it's just part of the fact that it's a very, very old ship.
Yeah, we can see what they're doing to old ships now, can't we? So it's just, again, like you said earlier today, when you're talking about the Freelancer, and you can see the last few little ones that need it done as well. It's just only going to go up the list. Caterpillar, Reclaimer, and all the other old ones.
And you look, well, you've said it yourself. The Caterpillar is basically, the Ironclad is basically the Caterpillar. It's just bigger and nastier.
You keep doing the questions. I'll be back in a minute. I'll go to the bathroom.
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to go back to watching because I can hear Al way better on the stream than in Discord, which is crazy because I've got him on 200%.
All right. Catch you, Pete. So we just did that one. The next question was from Cody Fox, 2876. And Cody says, if the list of ships the Liberator is planned to come out or before Invictus, with the Kraken at that point. Pioneer is the only known big ship in production. IAE 2027. It's a possibility. If the Pioneer is in production, and they've got base building ready at that time, that would be when they'd be aiming. They don't want to have a Pioneer come if base building is not ready, because that's the one thing it does. And CIG have moved away from putting out ships if they're ready, if they don't have game. So I would hope by IAE 2027 we've got base building. And if we get base building, then we'll either get the Pioneer because it's expected, or we'll have base building earlier, and we'll have the smaller base building ships, and then Pioneer coming as a big ship at the. But it all depends on when we get base building. That would be my thought there. Space Pumpkin wants to know. I want to know more about the Kino Forge. Yeah, a lot of people would. Our collective memories when X comes back. I just know it was a ship. Can't remember much more. Parker says, do you think the ship with 3 states is likely the Stingray or Sneak Peek? I think we did talk about that, Pete. Sorry, not Pete, but Parker. And I do think that based on what we're thinking, it probably is the Stingray. Given that the Stingray has landing mode, wings up, wings down, that's 2. And then maybe if it's got can act like a Terrapin and go into stealth mode, or do something else that changes the mode. Yeah, I could see that. Given the Horton bomber was a stealth bomber, and given the Horton bomber image was kind of linked to that, I was surprised when X pulled it up and said, and this was in the files as well, because I was just looking at the screenshot that was on screen of the Stingray, and I was thinking, what would it look like with the wings down? And the second I visualized, I thought, man, that's the Horton bomber. I couldn't unsee it, and so I think my gut says it's not a heavy fighter, but it's a off bomber. May explain why we don't see too many. Why it looked like it only had 4 guns. 4 guns kind of says to me possibly heavy fighter, as I said earlier in the stream. But if it's a heavy bomber, are they just missiles? Does it only have light gun? Does it not have gun? And that's the type of stuff we'll have to wait and see. Love giving us enough rope to hang ourselves. What can I say other than that? What I'll do is some of these questions I will come back when X comes back and let him weigh in as well. Yeah, and as Rabbit says, ground mining tech isn't working. That could be another thing that delays a ship like the Forge, because the Forge is so it really does tie into the reasons why the Pioneer might get delayed. And it's really is trying to get that balance. And all you can do is the best laid plans is what CIG intend. CIG say what they intend to do. But as you guys would know from life, you can make plans and they don't work out. They get pushed further away just because of it. No different in game design. So well, thanks, Spike. I always think it's great when we're both here, but major calls.
What did I miss?
So, not much. Kind of talked about the Pioneer. When's the Pioneer due? With Kraken and Invictus, the Pioneer's not on the list, but does that mean it has been said to be in production? So does that mean IAE 2027 or 2027? And I said, well, Depends where base building's in.
Well, funnily enough, what moves base building up is the new planetary tech coming. It's once that's in, base building then goes on top of that. So that would be the next thing. It'd also explain why the someone asked that before. It's one of the questions I know that's coming up. The name starts with A. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember it with all the shit in my head. It's someone that he's gonna hate me forgetting his name. I got Arcane Danger, I think his name was, off the top of my head. Said, any news on the Forge? Well, the same thing with the Forge is exactly what happened with the Pioneer. Base building kind of not required, so it's pushed back.
Yeah, well, that was one of the questions we actually talked about as well, the Forge coming. And I said, I'd wait for you to come back. And then I think Rabbit said, probably delayed depending on whether underground mining comes. And, you know, so, and then I was saying, CIG really moved away from bringing out ships if the gameplay is not there. So that really is the key that ultimately determines when those ships come out. And part of it is just not wanting to bring those ships out. But as we know, we make plans and then they may not actually fall when we try to reach the goals we set. But
I think it's more important than ever to get Squadron out. Let's just put it that way. And this year's probably been. But the sooner that thing's out, the sooner we can get on the Star Citizen and get that going. Right, first time chatter, Difficult with Intent says, I'm excited for the Liberator personally.
Yep. Lots of people are excited. I think any new ship, everyone's excited for.
Need to put a ban on a few
people are more excited when they own it.
Bike needs a ban, Rabbit needs a ban. They're all saying that I should not come back. They should all be banned. Ban.
Bike
need to get
a
ban
said
hammer, ban hammer on all of them.
No, I control the ban. No, actually, we both do.
I don't give a shit.
But you know, they were just saying they appreciated the time that you were able to go and look after yourself. You know,
I should have just pressed mute on here, and they could have just had 5 minutes of silence. I'm just kidding. Right.
Yeah. So anyway.
Next question when you're ready.
Next question is Parker. And we just start to talk about this one. Do you think the sneak peek or ship with 3 states is the Stingray? And we talked about that.
I think it's taking the long range nature of it, taking that it looks like it's a long range bomber. Like, it's pretty hard to argue that doesn't look like a bomber.
Hard to argue it doesn't look like the Horden bomber. It's hard.
Would there be a need for a stealth element which would give it that third mode? Absolutely. I can see that. Because it allows it to get to where it's going quicker and then to shut itself down and become more like the Eclipse. Because if you think about it, isn't that what it is, Algared? It would have to be a hybrid of the Eclipse and something incredibly fast. How do you do that? You have 2 different states.
Well, the other thing was the when we showed the sneak peek of that component, you know, the heating mode and cooling mode type thing, I was thinking it's a component.
True.
The only ship I could think of with that type of component, I was thinking was a Terrapin type ship.
True. That's actually, that now you mention it, that's not a terrible idea, man.
And if you got that in, and it does, and I don't know, does
well
activate cooling?
Literally says activate cooling.
And so, you know, it's an internal thing in a ship, and you hit that, and cooling mode. Does that mean
could this be the inside somewhere on the dashboard, and you just press a button, and all of a sudden the mode changes? Yeah.
Is that changing your capabilities or your emissions?
Well, it does say heat emission. So by activating the cooling, you'd be lowering your emissions.
Yeah. Yep.
Get a whiteboard in case.
Yes, get a whiteboard. Actually,
no, it's just these noise.
Somewhere.
It's just these noise gate or suppression. I mean, he turns his mouse slightly like that, or he.
If I turn my head,
his volume slightly, it just kicks.
Gotta love those updates.
Yeah, Algared's not the biggest technologically enhanced human, and so if something changes on him, he can be thrown for a little bit.
I thought that comment was coming into you. Could have just left turn mute on and left 5 minutes of silence.
Oh right. I'll get the whiteboard. Right. Yeah, that works.
Get a whiteboard, so then I could communicate while you were gone and we were all muted.
Yeah. That'd be funny. 5 minutes of whiteboard. That'd be. Yeah. Oh dear.
Now that you've said that, I will say, Dol, but now that you've said that, I've got to buy a whiteboard because there's going to be a time when X does it.
Wrong button again.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So Robert Voles. Yes, we did see the ship list of ships. Cody Fox. Stingray has to be a stealth ship, right? Would it make sense for them to just give us another basic standard fighter? That comment by itself, I would say no, there's no reason it has to be a stealth fighter. But that image and the look, second I started thinking what the ship looked like, to me it was the Horton bomber.
While it could be a fighter, I'm leaning a lot more towards bomber, mainly because that's what the Vanguard is. The Vanguard is a long-range fighter, right? It has redundancies and stuff like that.
You need something to go with it.
We have a bomber, but we don't have a long. The only bomber that's technically long range is the Harbinger. But you got to remember the Harbinger is also modular. So if you have something that's niche, it's considered greater than the modular one.
And the Harbinger only has size 5 torpedoes.
Yes,
from memory.
That's correct.
So it's the same, so very small torpedoes.
Yeah. So there's nothing. There's nothing akin to the Eclipse or the Retaliator. Yeah.
And Retaliator was the long-range fighter, but it's not a long-range stealth. So.
Yeah, it's also got like 5 people in it, and it's the size of a Connie. It's not like a heavy fighter size. It's drastically huge. So it's got yes, from the front it's the same profile as a Saber, but from the top or the side it's absolutely massive. Also, it's 5 people, not 1.
Yep.
So there is room for this thing. Is the point? What me and Algared are trying to lay out here is like
it fits. It really does fit.
It's the whole ship on the grid thing, right? And the ones that are really hard to detect, which is just another fighter, right? But this isn't just another fighter; it's a niche bomber long range thing. So it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But if it actually turns out to be that, but by the same token, I could see a variant that's just a fighter. Couldn't you? Like I could see the Manta Ray that's the fighter. And again, if you're looking at it in selling order, which order do you sell it in? Sell the bomber, then the fighter, because the fighter's going to make more money. That's simple. And you probably make the bomber $10 more expensive than the fighter, so they can't go backwards. That's marketing, boys and girls. Evil is.
And in a sense, Pete, it floats because it's a torpedo ship. That's just to tie that in for you, Pete.
Pete just wants it to float because he crashes all the time. That's why he wants it to float. He can't swim.
Hopefully, it's got an escape pod. Okay. Anyway, Cody says
a Pete pod. You might call it a Pete pod.
Pete pod.
Yeah.
Pete pod. Oh, by golly, I missed one.
Yeah, go for it.
I went through taking out all the night box.
Yeah,
I just found one.
It happens.
Officio says, have there been any leaks? What has been improved on the Kraken? Tweaked with extra pads, hangers, or it's not going to get extra.
No,
already had come out the wazoo.
But they did say there's a lot of space in it, and when we talked to them, a couple of years ago now, they did say it's pretty certainly going to get some kind of medical, to be in line with the other capitals of its size. Javelin, Idris, Polaris, they've all got medical facilities. So you could expect to have it at least tier 2. Polaris has got tier 2 beds. I would be expecting tier 2 beds on the Kraken. Wouldn't you, Algared? I think it's...
Yep,
and that's... Yeah, pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point in my book.
And that means, my thought would have been the only ships that get the tier 1 are basically going to be the Galaxy, because that is the Apollo, because we've got it and it's got the tier 1 option, and the Endeavour, because it's a floating hospital or a flying hospital.
Yeah, that's the exclusive thing they get, the best bet. It makes sense.
And you might find something like the Odin or have that, but I don't even think Jav was supposed to have tier 1. So the Bengal might, any ship that lists as having a hospital, I would say is that's.
Pete's kind of rant here. I don't know what he's going on about. Pete, what are you ranting on about? Saying there's too many indicators. Well, indicators of what? He reckons it's water cooled. Okay, right. That it floats. There's too many indicators that it floats. Is that what you're trying to say? Right, I'll let him reply in a minute.
It might be,
I think he's just got drunk again and he's ranting incoherently. So,
it could be.
No context.
Also, sneak peek nozzle we saw last week implies, okay, possible.
This is why engineers should not drink. High speed machinery and fingers and glass bottles do not mix.
Yep.
Right.
No,
next question, please, sir.
Nutsy42 says, couldn't the reason they have the engine humps on the top is that the belly, there has been a belly for room for interior? Did you see the silhouette at CitizenCon?
No, there was no silhouettes in the last couple of years, if that's what you're implying. As for the bumps, the reason why I said I don't reckon there's an interior is there's just like two separate bumps. If you're going to do rooms, wouldn't it just be one big lump?
No. Their thought is the lumps are there because the engines are higher because the rooms are below. And it's possible, but I don't see it.
I even said it myself at the start. I said it's totally possible it's got an interior. I just think it's highly unlikely. Especially now, if you think about it, what would be below? Bombs? A bomb bay?
Oh,
that's probably
it does have an interior. It's got a bomb bay.
Yeah.
And if it is a bomber with a bomb bay similar to the Eclipse, that's going to wipe out an interior idea.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Gladiator, the Eclipse, got their interior bomb bays, the modular bomb bays,
it just kind of lines up with their.
Starts to line up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Why work on all the bombers when there's no like we said before? You tend to get a new ship with its gameplay, and that's probably what was happening. This was being. You got to remember, this is now. Those bombs came back out at Invictus, like they would have been worked on in the background at the same time.
And we'd heard, someone saying, "Oh, I heard the Stingray. Yes, Stingray was a stealth ship," and you go back into monthly reports, multiple months, and you see, oh, it's a Stingray's stealth ship, and you go, okay. Then you see the images, and you see the image that's leaked, and you go, when it swings out, it's a Horton bomber, and you go, where are the guns? And you're going, okay.
Yeah.
More and more, it just feels like it's a bomb. Could we be wrong? Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
You know what what we need to do? We need to stay at late one night, about 10 p.m. our time, Algared, get absolutely f***ing blind drunk, and then we'll go on Piss Poor Pete's stream and rant about just
or I just have to be really
shit.
tired.
Random shit, like whatever. We'll come up with something. Just get him back.
I can do that when I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Don't need booze. Don't need booze for that. I can do it.
The only time I've ever done that is I was hanging out with who was I hanging out with? And it was on New Year's Eve, and she started streaming. It was getting her name. She's from Texas. And she streamed it. I can't remember. I'm terrible with names. I haven't talked to her for a year or two. Name's left me. But she's a Star System streamer. She out of Austin. You got no idea. She did all the fashion stuff, and she used to make people's faces and shit. In the character creator. Someone I'm talking about. Whatever.
I don't know.
Right. Next question. Buster the Destroyer. That's it. Buster the Destroyer. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yep. I got drunk one New Year's Eve on her stream with her. Apparently it was really entertaining, but I don't remember any of it.
Yep.
Anyway.
And we have Buster bars in game.
Yep.
I do remember Buster gave it all the Buster bars she could find.
Yeah.
Once.
Well, they were named after her. Anyway.
So, yeah. Viper Leo says, could the Skylark be a smaller Zeus?
Yeah. It could.
I would hope it's so. I reckon Skylark, it's either a snub ship or it's an E-Wolf.
Or it's RSI's new brand of coffin. It's a little diamond that you float in.
My gut is it's a snub fighter. Even if it's a snub fighter with E-Wolf, they're still better.
Well, the bird that it's based off is pretty telling. Like it's like, and the Skylark is to kid around and joke and like that is the job of the Merlin currently, like to annoy the shit out of you so the Connie can get away. Like that's in the name.
I've used the P-52 in game with a Connie, and it was surprising how much it didn't mean the Connie was escaping. It just enabled the Connie to smash.
I wonder if there's. I don't know. Annoying. I don't know the connection, right? I'm not a history buff or anything, but I hear Sky Larkin, and then for some reason in my head, I think of Larrikin. You see where I'm going, right? Like there's got to be Larrikin, Larrikin, and a Larrikin is someone that jokes and kids around and stuff like that. It's a very Australian.
And if you're Sky Larkin, you are mucking around. Yeah, no,
exactly.
Probably.
So I'm wondering if there's some kind of link there. Yeah, exactly. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm keen for it. The RSI ships.
I do like that. I do like that ship. I do like the idea of a ship.
Yeah, RSI had some really good ships lately. So
and they do. And if you think of the RSI as a company, it's probably the one thing they don't have because they let someone else build their snub. And now it's time to we let you have your time in the sun. Good to see you making your own ships now. We'll make our own.
Yeah, I'll be really surprised if it doesn't come with the Connie. Just saying.
I would be surprised. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it doesn't come with the Connie. 100%. That's my thought. We could be wrong.
Because the other thing is, if they make it built for the Connie, knowing the way CIG work, and they've worked in the past, it won't be a little thing that holds every single snub. It'll just hold that and only that, and that's it.
It'll kind of be akin to the tiny pokey hangar in the Carrack.
Yeah.
One ship and small. Fifth, I always says, what has happened with the Pioneer development? I haven't heard a darn thing. It's almost like it's been on the back.
Yeah, it's paused.
I would say it's base building.
They never officially said it's been paused, but when the Forge was paused, it's almost a foregone conclusion. It's also a CNU ship, and it's also got the same. It's literally a mini version of it's got the legs that go into the ground and extraction out of the ground. It does fabrication. It does all the other stuff. So
Forge, which is doing fabrication and all the other stuff, is paused, and it's using similar tech to the Pioneer. So no brainer. Rabbit07 says, assuming the Constellation Mark IV gets a special edition like the Aurora, what parts would it take from all the other variants? Round a cockpit, like on the...
You would put an Andromeda with an Aquila front, like you said. The point defense of the Phoenix. And I think that'll be it, wouldn't it? I can't think of anything else.
And the left of the Taurus.
Yeah. So you got the bigger cargo bay. Yeah, that does give you one of everything.
The length of a Taurus,
and
they'd rig it so it could still take the P-52,
and probably have it come with an Archimedes instead of a Merlin.
There you go.
And then
Constellation SE,
and it actually comes with the rover. Because only the only one of them comes with a rover, wasn't it?
No, both come with a rover.
No. The Killer came with a rover, but the Andromeda didn't, or something. I can't remember which one it was. There was something like that, wasn't it?
The Killer comes with the rover, and a P-52.
Oh, okay.
And the Phoenix comes with the Lynx and the P-72. So both two ships come with a rover, just different rovers.
You know what I mean, right? There's none that came with that the list that we just listed. That'd be how I did it. A Spit SE, so and Connie SE. It'd be interesting.
Yep.
Oh man, another ship I'm gonna have to upgrade. God damn it. Right.
Pitbull Pete. What features on the old Connie are non-negotiable must-haves on the new one?
Ooh. I'll be honest. I've always liked just the plain Andromeda, and for me, it did a little bit of everything. You know, the turrets on the top and the bottom. You know, UN formates, the Merlin, the cargo bay. You can put a vehicle in it instead of cargo. It's almost modular by nature without being a modular ship. You know what I mean? Like it is a generalist, and that was the appeal of it for me. It just does a little bit of everything.
And you consider that the original one had that terminal, which you could actually the original idea, it was a terminal you could actually upgrade on the Connies. To put a system in that wasn't there, you'd almost imagine putting in a fabrication unit, something like that type of stuff. I originally got the Connie because I was thinking, going exploring in a small ship with me. The reason the cockpit of turrets are arranged in that horrible situation is the idea of having the Luke Skywalker and Han Solo mode. Yeah, I got one. Don't get cocky, son. Or don't get cocky, kid. It was that type of image of going.
I'm not laughing at you, by the way. I'm laughing at Grim said because it's just
and it was also the idea of having the arrangement of that cockpit was kind of to get that again Millennium Falcon feel of everyone in the cockpit.
I have to read what Grim said because it's just funny. The Grim goes, I think it would be hilarious if the Connie Mark V was completely different from the Mark IV, except for the struts. If they just brought the struts right over to the new ones, I would love that. Like, that was so funny.
For Grim, the non-negotiable fact
is the struts
on the Connie is the struts.
Yeah.
So if the new Connie has struts, you know who to blame. It's Grim.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grim, for the struts on the new Connie.
I think we can safely say though the struts aren't going to come over. Look at the Perseus. Look at the Polaris. Look at they minimize the struts. So that's what I'd expect. I would probably expect it to be a lot more like the more modern cockpits we've seen. I think the very first one of those we saw was the Mantis. But now you look at it, it's on the Galaxy, it's on all the other ships I just listed as well. That's the kind of cockpit I'd be expecting. The irony that there's 3 people on the Connie, 3 people on the Zeus, 3 people on the Perseus, what appears to be 3 people on the Galaxy cannot be lost on any of us, right? Like it's
stock-standard RSI.
Yeah, Polaris is obviously a little bigger. But yeah, what I'm in my head and what Algared described as well is exactly what I saw from the get-go. And what I said to Algared when I first thought about it was you take the Polaris, and ironically, when you shrink that, a lot of what is on the Polaris already pretty much just lines up with what you need on a Connie. You've got turrets that go top and bottom. well, they're on the sides. Well, they can't be on the side. You know what I mean? That they're on top and bottom. On you get what I mean, right? So you're just essentially merging them together, and they become centralized. Well, that's ironically exactly what the Connie is. Where the hangar is would just become a snub bay because it's doesn't need to be that big anymore. And then to make it kind of cooler and more like the Aurora I was just like, what if those, you got your Dorito shape of the Polaris, what if the engines just crack off and come out and look like the ones on the Connie? And I'm like, as soon as you see that, like them crack off, it's just like, shut up and take my money. That would just be amazing. And I can't not see them not doing that, because it's not that complicated of an animation. Because once you've done it once, you've only got to duplicate it.
And I always thought, like, when I looked at the Apollo and thought, this is a cut down Connie. It's now a bigger version of a Connie, but the engines on that kind of have that's the position the engines would kind of break off if they were in that kind of split mode. But I can't see going forward a new ship from RSI not being a Dorito, because all the new ships from 2946 basically Dorito. All the new ships they brought out since then, since you brought out the Polaris came out,
even some of the ones that are meant to be these older designs, like the Perseus, still have that shape.
Yeah, and when they pulled it in, they pulled it back. But the Perseus is the older ship that came back, but it came back when it came back in that same period as the Polaris comes out, the Perseus comes.
So by doing this, they've essentially
they
fundamentally killed the old design of RSI, but because it's the last one that needs it now.
Yep, and then you've also got the Aurora. The new Aurora has that Dorito shape. You can't not see that's a new shape of RSI going forward. And all the old shapes are the old version. So
the only thing I'm left to kind of wonder and contemplate is the industrial side of it, right? Because we've obviously got the Salvation, and that didn't have a diamond.
No,
it was this kind of square, weird thing, right? And if you were to get so I think of the Orion, how are you going to put a diamond back into the Orion? The only way you could do that, if they put diamonds back into it, would be sideways.
Yep. And if you're still looking at the old style of ship, I think the last concepted RSI ship with that old kind of design was the not the Meteor, the Mantis. So you'd had the last ships from RSI that had come out with the Apollo that we saw, with the Apollo and the Mantis. And the Mantis was the newest ship, and it still had that RSI look and feel, but you could see there was a change coming. But after that, I think it's Polaris, Perseus, Galaxy, Mark II, Aurora, and they're all Doritos. I can't see a Mark V.
What about the Apollo and the Hermes? They aren't exactly triangular.
No, but they were before the Mantis, if my memory.
What do you mean conceptually?
Conceptually, and even inverse.
No. The Mantis. Wrong on that one. The Mantis came out way before the Apollo did.
Certainly, the concept, the concept. They were the last two before we got the Dorito ships.
I don't think it hurts to have some of the older shapes around. I like to see it as a progression thing.
And some of those old shapes are perfect. I think the old shape is great for the Apollo. It also helps give that sense of this is that traditional ship we have at the medical. So it kind of helps with that whole recognition of the type of ship and the type of thing you're doing. But yeah, that's where my mind goes. I just see it as a new design. So a Mark V Connie probably.
Interesting thing they're talking about there in chat was what if the front of the Connie detached like a saucer section?
Oh, that'd be a new state.
All right, next question, Algared, when you're ready, mate.
Pistol Pete. Oh no, we did that one, but with the features 20, dropped for Grim. The ship list claims another new Origin ship is coming this year. Do you think UAG is ramping up Origin production? And which other Origin ships do you think might?
And why, Agri, you're cutting out badly there. You cut out twice.
Okay, so I'll try.
COD is ramping up Origin production, and which other Origin ships do you think might come in the next 2 years? Look, real simply, why Agri's fixing his mic.
Yep.
They have to teach people all the different styles, right? So before they come back and work on your 600i rework, well, you don't want them to butcher it. They've got to be able to make them. So if they fill in some other Origin ships, that allows them to go do those.
Yep.
And
so, yeah, getting people to work on your Origin ships gives not only does it give them experience on the design and the feel of the manufacturer, but it also fleshes out your library of assets for the brand. And so if you change the brand design, you're actually building up that whole library that you're going to be able to pull on.
Yep. And you'll finally get your G12 as well, eventually as well.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I think the probably have to analyze this a little bit. I don't think they're all in rework territory, but I think the 300i could probably get a little bit of love, a little bit of monetization, and I'm thinking it's mainly just some touch-ups, right? The 400 series is fine. I think the reason why we haven't seen it getting touched is they realize they need to go back and fix some other stuff on the other ships. But the 600i, we know that rework's coming, but I think the other one that definitely needs it is the 890.
Yep. And they're not going to touch the 890 until they've done the 600.
Yeah, agreed. In fact, I'd be willing to bet you would use pieces from said 600 to flash out 890.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And if for the variant of the 890 that is shops, or even if the 890 restaurant or other thing is a shop, you're going to flesh it out with when shops and stuff come in.
You would see them all coming at the same time, and based on needing base building and then the Pioneer, I would say after the Pioneer, or is in short tune after you hear about the Pioneer, I would then have to assume that they're working on the Banner Merchantman. Anytime they start working on the Banner Merchantman, they're probably working on other shop ships, and that puts Origin up there, which therefore means that the 600i rework would be possibly back on the cards, but also the 890 jump, but also any other Origin ships they want to slot into that. The only thing that would hold things back like the 890 jump or the 600i is AI NPCs. But they're already in games, so do they just release them anyway?
But you've also got the new world, the world stuff that they talked about in the monthly report.
How does that
which
link
kind
up?
of, well, you need your AI for those ships. So if your world stuff is doing the
you're talking about the world spawning, yes,
the prop manager and stuff.
That
also is pushing.
That is a step in the right direction, but really you need AI interacting with the human. That's a different level again. It is a step in the right direction, yes.
But we're talking about the interaction of the AI and stuff.
That's interacting mainly with each
AI,
other.
With the world.
Yeah, that's AI with AI. So AI with you is a different thing. But it is a step in the right direction.
You've got to go that step before you go the other step. So
exactly.
All of that stuff kind of starts pushing towards the. I've always Rudger Blood Moon. I've always thought that the 890 would make a perfect op. It always, to me, Origin always came across to me as clinical and pristine in cleanliness, rather than just luxury. And I always thought the 890 jump could be turned into a great private hospital. It's got 4 bedrooms, plus the captain's quarters. So you've got an operating room plus 4 recovery rooms. Great for those high-end hospitals and people wanting a face.
And if they're going to redo something like that, they're going to want to get money out of it. So making a variant.
Yep, absolutely. So
if you're
100% see that.
If you're getting a 600i rework, I would fully expect. This is just me putting it out there. Like we know that the reason we talk about Origin is because half of its thing on this guide thing that came out a couple of years ago was commercial. We don't have a single commercial ship from Origin. So just, you know, brainstorming. If you're going to do a shop ship and you know you need to do a 600i rework, wouldn't you make a 600i shop ship a variant?
As a third 600i variant.
Yeah. Wouldn't you make it so that you can have a shop variant of the 890 jump and also a hospital ship, as Algared has pointed out? Absolutely, you do something like that because it's cash on the table if you don't.
Yep. You know, all of those.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at ships like the Endeavour. Now, the Endeavour's not Origin, but when you look at what the Endeavour does, it's got everything. It can do everything.
Mm.
And I could see, while it's got the module aspects, I could see them bringing out modules for or variants of those other capital ships that do aspects of what the Endeavour does. You know, again, it's money on the table if they want it.
Yeah. Robert Vols, we talked about that earlier. We actually brought it up on screen and everything. Thanks, Rob. He was just talking about Galactica.
Yep, I did see that.
Yep.
Altzilla Star Citizen says, could the RSI bridge teased in last week's sneak peek be the new bridge for the Connie Mark V instead of a Galaxy?
I'm going to say no, because they tend to talk about the ships. God, I did have it here. What did I do with it?
But when they do the sneak peeks, they're usually with the ships that they're working on at that time.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say with my word salad that I totally butchered.
Yep.
Thank you for completing my sentences. Good to know that we've got to that point now, that you know what I'm talking about. It took a decade.
No, well, we've talked about it so many times ourselves. You know, like I do put the sneak peeks linked to the ships they're working on. They've been working on, ships, the Galaxy. Therefore, it makes sense that the sneak peek is the Galaxy, not if it's planned for down the track.
So this is what he was talking about. Sorry, it took me a while to find.
Although, I do remember you saying it's in grey box.
Further development on the RSI Galaxy. Yeah, but also, if you look on the list, both these ships will be due for October.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. The RSI Galaxy, which passed its white box gate review earlier this month. And then additionally, Art Resources, various areas of the ships progress significantly, including the lower engineering area. So this is an engineering area.
Yep. And that's another area. So based on where it is, you'd think that's a cockpit and that's the engineering of the same ship, because they're patched in between.
And going on other newsletters we've had of ships that have now released and stuff like that. We've gone on pattern. Humans have this innate ability to recognize patterns, believe it or not.
Yep.
And that's basically the pattern, is that this is a Galaxy.
Yep. And while, yes, it could possibly be, we're talking about, remember, when we're talking about the Connie bridge, the Connie being Mark V, that's in a leak. It's not an official thing from CIG.
If I was a betting man, I would bet, based on what the Connie currently has, I would be using Zeus seats. It would be the hybrid between this and that. So imagine the Zeus is a lot more pokey because it's small. So just widen it and use the Zeus seats. That's you don't. Also, the Connie's not as big, so you don't have the room to just put stairs in out of nowhere, right? Like you just don't. So you make it flat. It's got the Zeus seats. They rotate. That's exactly what the Connie seats are right now. Are they not, Algared? They're just
they rotate. Yeah, they just rotate. They don't move.
Yeah, but they're customized. Well, they're the original Connie seats, but the closest seats that we have right now would be the Zeus. They have that thing that connects to the roof and they just spin, right? So if you somehow took, say, this cockpit and then used Zeus seats, you can see it's a progression thing. and they like to do that. So if you've got this and you've got that, and the Connie's going in the middle, it's the bridge and the gap. So that's what I'd expect. Zoo seats, just no stairs. Take the stairs out of this thing. It'd just be this. And maybe a little bit more tapered because it doesn't need to be as wide, but yeah, get the point. All right, we'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe they're upside down and loop-de-looped or whatever. I think the only other thing that that is going to disappoint me is the bottom turret. I am not a fan. So they've simplified everything? They don't do flippy flips anymore. Have you noticed that? All the new ships don't do flippy turrets. They all just go down and you look down.
Yeah.
So no more flippy. What it is.
Anyway. We answered Arcane Danger about the Forge, so we'll just move on. Robert Case.
Oh, wait. Robert Voles subscribed to Tier 1. You've subscribed for 7 months. Thank you, Robert Voles. Appreciate it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Robert Case, 2252 says, sincere drama-free question, just for your information, I am not that worried. The community seems to me scared. From 1 to 10, how worried are you about CIG creating that, what Star Citizen we dream?
I missed the last word. You cut out again. You got to look at your newsgate after today.
Yep. So from a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you that CIG is creating what the Star Citizen we dream of? Will it happen?
I think there's always a doubt. I think my conclusion is Squadron has become is too long in the tooth. It should have been out years ago now. Clearly Star Citizen's the game that most people want. I don't know what the percentage is. You could argue it's 50, 70, 99. I don't know. I know there are people like Algared, right? And Algared he got into this for Squadron, but I think even Algared would agree the vast majority of people are after Star Citizen.
And since Squadron got removed from the store, how many years ago was that now? 3, 4? Yeah. You're talking 4 years of people who didn't really know that Squadron was an option. It's just been Star Citizen. It's just been the PU. So I get that people get miffed.
If you kind of look where we're already at with Star Citizen, that's pretty far. It's further than most games kind of get. Like look at some of the other games that are out there. They haven't gone that far. They might have done fuller game, but the tech's not as deep, right? Is what I'm talking about. So really, it's them getting the people to complete it. Can they get the talent in? Can they actually find people that can do those more complicated tasks? That is the key thing. Can they actually draw in the talent to get it done? If Star Citizen tech-wise doesn't go any further than it is now, so say we get instances, and they did talk about that years ago, if we only ever got instances, I still think it would be pretty successful. If we only get half of what he promised, I still think it would be more than decent.
And I think, I always look at it like, when you say this is what we want to do, or this is what we're going to do, realistically, if I say, I'm going to do this, and it's some brand scheme of thing, you understand generally what I'm saying. This is what I'm going to attempt to do.
What we're aiming for.
Heading.
Yeah.
It's not I'm 100% going to do it. There might be factors that limit what we can do. If it's physically possible, is it physically impossible for me to climb up Mount Everest unassisted without oxygen? Yeah.
But I'm going to be climbing back down.
Am I likely to do it? Yeah. Am I likely to do that?
Long story short, I don't think he's ever going to get it 100% done. I think maybe 75 if he's lucky, you know.
But then the other thing is, it also comes into what, Space Tomato summed it up. There's got to be stuff in this game, or stuff that happens in this game that you like, and stuff that you don't like. How many games, there are a game that comes out you absolutely love. I'll give it, hunt. You like it. I've dabbled in it. It's okay. Not my cup of tea. Different people like different games and different approaches, and so
it's. I think with Stars specifically, I think it's the time thing. I think the thing that is really grinding a lot of people, and a lot of people come to the harsh realization, is we've been paying for them to make a single player game. We really want the multiplayer. If anything, based on the question you're saying, is I would say that I think episode 2 and 3 are in serious doubt. Because if you turned around and no matter how good Squadron episode 1 is, right? Best game of all time, worst game of all time, doesn't matter. You're asking people to buy spaceships and it's half of it's going to a single player game. Oh. That's not what I want. If that is not what you want, right? Do you also then ask people, oh, when you buy your ship, you can put your money towards A or B? You see where this goes very quickly. Well, it all goes to A or it all goes to B. It doesn't go where you want it to go anymore. So if you come out and announce episode 2 starts production next week, as soon as Squadron and Star Citizens and the State is in, people are going to go bananas on you. So I think they have to dedicate, I don't know how long it is, but I think for 1.0 to exist or become a reality, they need to focus all their attention on that. And then once 1.0 is done, ready to go, released, whatever, then go back to, all right, now we're going to do episode 2, and now we're going to keep going on Stars. That's where my brain's at. I don't know if you're in the same page.
I'm a bit torn. Like, I wonder whether how much of episode 2 or 3 have been kind of pulled into the main story now anyway, because the game changed, the scope changed.
Okay. They did say though last we heard, that was a long time ago. So, I'll give you that. Yeah, okay, keep going.
So that could have happened.
Because the last time we heard anything about script stuff was all the way back before Pubertal Planet. So what you're suggesting is once Pubertal Planet came in, they just put more shit into it.
Right. Put more stuff in, and that as they expanded the first person game, did that mean they pulled in elements of episode 1, 2, episode 3, because it was taking so long? The other thing that makes me wonder as to whether episode 2 and 3, if I are still standalone, will come, is Chris is getting old.
Yeah,
Chris is as old as me. I'm 59.
There's definitely something there to do with Richard Tyra too. You don't pull, like, when me and I even said to Algared when we're on the tour there, I turned to him and said, look at their offices. They were the only off. No, not only that, they were next door, right? But they had a foldable wall between them, so they could turn the thing into one giant office.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't tell me that doesn't mean he's not protege. He's his partner. He's working Tyra up to be the replacement.
Yep.
I needed to get that for Algared. We need a mini owl.
Yeah.
So if you're prepared to
one of those things that really stood
and
out.
wear a suit, get in touch.
It was one of those things that that really did stand out. It was.
So yeah,
I don't even think John and Ben's office was like that. They were.
No, they were separate.
From memory, they were separate.
Yeah,
it was the only one that you had that kind of.
Yeah, they'd had it specially put in. You could tell.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it just tells me Richard Tyra is basically being groomed for takeover. Because as you said, like, even if he's there until he's 70, at some point he's gonna have to step out. He's kind of said that he wants this to be forever game. Fair enough. Maybe you should start doing that already. Put someone as CEO, get them to run the business side so he can just focus on the game side. And I'm going to be honest, from the things that you and I hear from behind one thing is maybe you should let go of some of the things and just take a bit of a step back on, because if everything has to run through him, if he has to approve everything, that's a linchpin. That might be why things are taking so long, you know, or just another contributing factor. So I know he wants to approve everything, but the more people, I'll give an example. Right? This is like a really silly, stupid example, but I do know it's going to get to my point, right? I went out the other day with my mum because she wanted someone to go with her, right? And she's looking to renovate her bathroom. So she was looking at tiles, right? Now, to me, these sorry, Mum, if you're listening, because I know she's going to listen. These tiles to me weren't hideous, but they weren't my taste, right?
They weren't your style,
yeah, they weren't my style. But I very quickly picked up on the style that my mother was after. We went to about 4 or 5 shops, and I think by the time I get to 2 or 3, I'm starting to get it. Right? I'm starting to read what she's putting down, and by the time I got to the 4th store, I knew exactly what she was looking. Right? The point I'm trying to make is in very quick succession, you start to learn someone's style. Now, you're trying to tell me there are people that have been there for 10, 15 years that don't have Chris's style down by now?
No.
Right? And if you just made it so that, okay, I don't want you to independently make decisions, you've got to get it okayed by... Look, we even have it on our Discord, don't we, Algared? If someone's going to get banned, one other person has to okay it, because we don't want people rage making mistakes, right?
Yep.
So you have a check system is all we're talking about. So if Algared has learned the system of Chris Roberts and the style, and he's comes up with this new ship, to make sure he doesn't make a ship that we all might think is ridiculous, one other person would have to okay it. So what I'm saying is, has Chris really gone this long and not built a team? Like a team that can just okay things? I don't know.
I don't know. Whether it's a team, and look, I could see you'd have a team that, you know, reduces it down and then sends it up. Or does X, Y, and Z and sends only the tougher things up a line. A bit like our Discord. You know, our mods run it, and every so often they send something up a line for us to hey guys, and we go, yeah, whatever, what you guys want. But it is kind of that, yeah. Okay. But I do wonder about.
I've actually
episode 2 and 3 based on the age of Chris.
So we'll see what comes. It's a bit hard to take. Sorry, there's a question here that I want to answer because I turned the bot off, and then of course someone asked it.
Yep. Of course.
So Project Gnome gets cut to the front of the line. Who says, "Do you think we will ever see a prison clad? Basically, an ironclad setup from jail cells and bulk prisoners transport. Why would passengers and gameplay be only based around general population?" There is something Piss Poor Pete talks about again and again and again, and it's really hard to not unsee. There is a prison ship that is used as the Caterpillar. There's a prison version of it, and it's really pokey and it doesn't really work very well. If you look at the ironclad, you can totally see that the ironclad is basically being built off what they wanted the Caterpillar to do. So if you had the ironclad and you were transporting prisoners, it works perfectly because it's just a giant square room. Eventually, I think you'll see a lot of missions with ironclads in them.
And what does one of the ironclads have inside the hangar? Great big room.
Oh, the gun thing. Yeah. To shoot prisoners.
You got a security station for your prison.
And not only that, I actually think specifically it's the assault variant, because the assault variant would also have all the extra guns and shit on it as well. And where the fabricator area is, you could actually have prison cells. So when prisons are awake, they're in the cells. So I would modify the ironclad assault to be a prison variant, but that's just me.
Or you have a food replicator so the prisoners, when they're not in their cells, can actually...
Oh, I remember. You just reminded me. That's where I heard about the Retaliator Mark II thing, because it's in Squadron. They might have updated, or I think I heard it. But it's the same thing. If that prison ship of the Caterpillar was in Squadron, could they not take the ironclad and replace it with a prison version of the ironclad? Just saying. So we'll see. See what happens. But yeah. All right, cut to the headline. All right, back to the other ones. We've got about what 5-6 to
go. Sisio 7777 says, really hope that Gatak is a Gatak Rallian mining variant with more SCU than the mole. What do the Inforunners think?
It could be. I look at the grid though, and the mining kind of filled out now.
Yep, and I don't see that being some. Oh, it's Gatak, not Origin.
Yeah.
They are supposed to be industry, but
yeah. You know where I'm at? I'm at the refinery again.
Yep.
I just can't get away from it. We need the refinery, and literally the galaxy is like the month after. But one of two things happens. Either the galaxy comes out and it's a cargo module and a hospital module, and they don't release any refinery module.
Yep, as we postulated earlier in the week.
Or another ship's coming before then.
That's a refinery,
right? And they have said that is. Actually, they said it was a generalist, but they also said it was an industrial. Crafting is industrial, so no, I can't escape the generalist.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's enough. I think there's enough evidence now to say it's not a minor; it's a generalist.
I wouldn't say minor. The best I could see was a variant of the generalist as a straight up refinery.
It does every time you go up a player. Does it add extra feature? So you get a medical bed, you get a crafting table, and now you get mining. Like, does it add a feature every time it goes up one level? That'd be funny.
Yeah, hey. It could be a unique Xeon approach to building.
Again, if it's a generalist, again, we haven't had a second generalist yet, so there is room to open and change things. But with what the Clipper had, it had ability to craft and ability to repair you. So, how do we expand that? Well, okay, in my brain, feel free to step in and correct me here, Algared, but my brain goes, imagine if you took a Connie.
Yep.
Right? And you had a Connie and you put a medical bed on it and a fabricator. Has a vehicle on it. So what's a step up above a Clipper? If you had a vehicle, or maybe in the case of the Gatak, what if it had a snub instead of a ground vehicle? You see where I'm going, right? So now you're repairing not just your ship, but the vehicle that goes on your ship, right? So that I wouldn't say that's a guarantee, but I think eventually you'll see a generalist that does have a vehicle or snub of some description.
And if you took a Gatak rail or Thule, which now have snub bay in the. But to me, there seems evidence that you could go, that fits into that.
Well, you got multiple roles too, don't you? You got multiple people on the ship. So one person going off on a snub or going off on a vehicle, not so egregious all of a sudden, And when man goes to the moon, one guy stays behind and the other two go off down.
And that idea of people doing different jobs, to me, fits in with what I've always understood Chris wanted in the gameplay, a group of friends doing different jobs. That's why the strike force mission, the tactical strike groups is so good.
It'll probably
you do have people doing multiple roles.
It'll probably be something simple like one person flying, two people on turrets type of thing. If it was 3-seater, right?
Yep.
We don't even know a combination of crew yet, but you work it through. It's, again, you could have one person on the ship, one person in a ground vehicle or snub, and they separate and go do a job and come back, or does that job assist? So the only way I can see that this ship getting away with industrial is that it is a generalist with crafting. That's the only. Because also, is it really industrial if it's also got medical facility? I think that's
And I would say no. I could see.
Yeah.
I could see them making a ship that had salvage and repair.
It's like calling it a science ship, and they make the bombs and drop bombs. Like, it's a bit weird. It's hybrid. There's no other way to call it. A generalist is a hybrid. It's half medical, half crafting.
Yeah.
And to call it industrial, I think is a little
creative.
You're missing half the label.
Yeah.
Because it's industrial medical.
And loose.
Well, again, do you even call crafting industrial? Now, I understand there's industrial manufacturing, but realistically, until crafting wasn't a thing for a really long time in this game, industrial meant all that other shit.
It meant mining and salvage and refining.
So the only other thing I can think of is there something else that's added there? Like I said, this is our first kind of, or second shift into the generous line. Is there something else in that lineup?
Oh, and unfortunately, we just got to wait because we don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely questions, still questions though. That's, I think that's what we're saying. So, yeah.
Yep.
Next one, Algared, when you're ready.
European hardware enjoyer says, do you reckon the Galaxy will get repair, rearm, refuel capabilities on the rear hangar?
Yeah, of course.
Might
only be hand tool repair and jerry canning.
It'll either be hand power tool, jerry canning based on what you've got in your supplies, or it'll have the ability to do it from supplies.
Same as the Polaris hangar, and same as the other hangars that are around. It'll just be the same thing until
they fine tune it.
Yeah. Eventually, they'll have a hose that you run across and into the fuel port. There's a reason why they're putting fuel ports on all the ships.
Yeah, and you look at not fuel ports for the docking fuel port. It's a fuel port to the side underneath where you plug in a hose in the hangar.
Some of them have two, Algared.
Yes, I know. Some have the one at the top and one down below.
One for the boom and one for the hose.
I think we saw one the other week on a ship.
We did. I can't remember what it was because it's all a blur.
No, I can't remember either, but I remember we both saw it and went,
it was two. Yeah.
This is for hangar refuel, yeah. And you don't put that stuff in and have a hatch that opens to show it. I think it was the Aurora. I think the Aurora Mark II has it. Remember?
Yeah, one on top, one. It might have been that one.
Yeah. But you don't put that stuff in with a hatch that opens to show it out if it's not there. If it's not going to be a thing that you use, why make more work? Dom 4419 says, "What do you think is the third state of the Stingray?" I think it might be stealth.
Yeah, bomber mode, stealth bomber mode.
That's where we're going at the moment.
Turns the temperatures and signatures down. It makes a lot of sense, gameplay wise, and it's simple. It's already in the game. It's taking so essentially it makes the Stingray a hybrid. It's half Terrapin, half Eclipse. Thanks for coming. Two gameplay features we already have. It's nothing new. It's just a hybridization, same as Generalists. Anyway.
No, and our next question picks up the same idea, picking up the Stingray. What if it's not just loaded with bombs, but with a torpedo? Torpedoes were originally made to sink ships. We're already I think
that's what we meant.
That's what we meant. That's what we were saying.
In fact, when we said bombs, we didn't mean bombs. We meant torpedoes. Sorry.
Yeah.
We
exactly the same way that
we said bombs, but we meant torpedoes.
Well, but it's in the same sense that the
bombs weren't a thing for a really long time, were they, Algared? They weren't a thing for many years in this game, and now there are bombs. It's just confusing to us, but yeah.
The Retaliator bomber was always a bomber, but it never had bombs. It had torpedoes.
Even missiles at one point, like torpedoes were just bigger missiles.
Yeah.
Like how you got size 4 guns, and then as soon as you jump to 5 size guns, they become the bigger ones. It's exactly the same thing.
Same. Used to be size 1 to 4 were torpedoes, were missiles for taking out fighters and other stuff, and size 5 was the smallest torpedo you got. That's why you see them on Gladiator. That's why you see them in the Harbinger. And then going up to the massive boomstick guns you see on the Polaris and the Idris and the Javelin and gosh knows what else.
Odin.
So yeah.
Anyway, next question.
Rabbit07. Question. Not sure if the first one got through. Yes, it did. And it was what variants would you expect to see, or what parts would we put to make the SC? If the Mark IV or Mark V kind of was coming.
We answered that one already.
And we did answer that one.
Yep.
Exo Slasher says...
I want you to read it exactly as he wrote it. Because I read this one.
Okay. Exo Lasher says, would a Gattaca multi-role snub that can have a salvage mining repair head make the Tilly an interesting industrial ship and differentiate it enough from a carrier spam of 25?
Gotta love autocorrect, don't you? Yeah, you can tell he's on the phone. That's why I gotta do it, because this is what would be funny. So obviously it means Gattac instead of Gattatica. Multi-role snub. So it's a Gattac multi-role snub. That would have salvage mining repair, so it needed to be modular. So we're thinking like a head that you could change parts on, something akin to what we said on the Golem potentially back when we talked about that, but that never eventuated.
With
October,
an interesting industrial ship.
I think no for two reasons.
I think it could make an interesting ship.
Oh yeah, interesting ship, but I think no, not now. The Skylark is right there. I think it's something like that. You'd either get a rework of the Merlin or the rework of the Archimedes for said ship, and the fact that the Skylark is there is extremely telling. But I think that means it's coming later.
Yep.
We've got we've got a snub every 6 months for the last couple of years now. So what? Next Invictus, an alien snub.
That mean, but the Skylark will fit in the top.
Sorry.
Or is it going to be like the P-5272 where it can't?
Well, again, we even theorized that at the time, didn't we? We even said, we even said, is there a new Merlin rework or Archimedes rework coming for a potential Connie rework that we theorized that has now been not proven, but reinforced today.
And Skylark kind of reinforces that idea. So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, yes. Cody Fox 2876 says, if CIG is planning to announce a Squadron 42 delay, given the upcoming schedule, October event, IAE GTA 6, when would the best time to publicize it?
Well, if it was me, I'd get a lot of content creators, fly them over to your house, and get them to fucking take the blow.
And you'd pay for them, yeah. Or you get them to come to your house.
No, get them to fly themselves. They're even better. It costs you nothing. And then just wine and dine them with, show them the game and get them to talk about it and say it's amazing. Oh, and by the way, suddenly slip in, it's delayed by 6 months.
Yeah, after you've wined and dined them and have played it for a couple of days, and then you tell them. Do I still think it's coming in October? The stuff I've heard says yes. But I also think the stuff I haven't heard says no. Either way, I think at the bare minimum, it's the start of a advertising campaign for
it. Let me put this down. There's 2 more dates left that they can use in my book, and Paul talked about this yesterday. August 26th to the end of the month. So this month, the end of this. So by the end of this month, there would have been Gamescom. Gamescom goes. I think it goes through sometime into September. I think it's like the 8th of... I'd have to get the exact date, right? I think it's like 2 weeks or something like that, right? But by the end of there, if we haven't heard shit, by the way, they're going to Gamescom, but they don't have a big booth or anything like that. Right? Apparently they're going to show some kind of little trailery video thing. Like a pre-made video, right? So you take that. That's not, the only other time left, and this would line up with the delay, by the way, right? And I think, remember earlier on in the year when, I don't want to call him shit for brains, I want to get his name right. Jeff Keighley. He's the guy that runs the Game Awards. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Right? He made a post, and he's also friends with Chris, right? So all of a sudden now, we all thought at the time, Summer Games Fest. Well, it wasn't Summer Games Fest. It was, what if it is the Game Awards? And they talk about at the end. Now, if you've delayed it from October by 5 to 6 months, making it February, March, here I'm going here, that is a really good time to announce it. to have some kind of trailer to show off, because then in only a couple of months' time, it'll be available to play. So they're the two time periods I think it is. They're the last two periods to announce.
And the only times I can remember from Gamescom, you'd see games that were kind of announced and you wouldn't hear them again for, and games that were coming up very soon.
So my brain is at this. We get very little, if anything, for Gamescom. We get at CitizenCon, or what would have been CitizenCon, the content creator thing, they basically say the game will be coming early next year. And then at if not the date, then the date will come at the Game Awards with a big hoopla trailer, all that jazz. Because something like the date on when it's coming, they'd want to tell everyone everywhere all at once.
Yep.
Not just us.
No, you want to get that out. And so that's the type of thing, that's the type of thing that makes me, say, is the game coming out in October? And the stuff I've heard, that's what they're aiming for. But then the stuff I haven't heard says that's not quite right.
A lot.
It just feels as something.
The dots aren't lining up.
But yeah, am I overly concerned? No.
It's 6 months. God, I've waited
6 months.
Almost 15 years. Like 6 months going to do anything. 2 more grey hairs. Whoop-de-doo. Right? So I really don't care. Right? Yeah.
A bit more polish. Yeah.
Yeah. Bit and polish. Actually, I saw a really funny thing the other day that made me laugh. Someone was saying if you missed the the solar eclipse, is what it looked like. They had this bald white guy, and a bald black guy came out and stood in front of him, and you could see the white over the top. It was so funny. And it was just a traffic lights or whatever. It was hilarious if you'd seen it anyway. And I thought of you when I saw it. I just couldn't stop laughing.
Well,
back to the point at hand. The last thing I want to add is when he started talking about this on his stream yesterday, I was not convinced, but this is I'd be due diligence to share something that I think that would be a valid thing to share. Invictus next year. If you look at the history of Star Citizen, you've got the start of the Kickstarter campaign, the end of the Kickstarter campaign being these important dates of both CitizenCon and AIE, and Invictus has always felt fabricated, right? It's just this made up thing. Now, how do you legitimize that? Now, I'm not saying they have to do that, but this is something that Paul brought up. You release Squadron, that all of a sudden becomes the anniversary of Squadron. It is a military game, and it is a military sale. It all perfectly
in-game recruitment of a navy. Oh yeah, that.
And they talked about the army going back to Seoul.
Yep.
You see where I'm going here? Like there's a certain number of little things that are just nicely lining up.
Just lining up in the law. Yeah, look.
And you can then, in that hype of that sale, the people that are caught up in the hype of Squadron might, maybe they'll buy a spaceship or two.
Yep. All right.
So that would make it delay it from May, which is only it would be 7 months. Right? So, or do they just release it as soon as they possibly can? And again, I went through a bunch of stuff. I asked AI, I talked to former friends and devs and look at all the games. And I can tell you right now, if anyone that's played games, as soon as a game is delayed from that holiday window, it drops out in February. If it's not at Christmas, a game comes out, like a really big game, they come out in February.
Here's the other thing. I know that CIG were always waiting for the information of GTA.
Yep.
That was their big thing to set their wheels in motion. And so when they found that out, found out so late, does that push everything back further? That so I just wonder. I asked those questions.
Yeah, where is he? This is you, right? There you go. No, I asked, look, again, when I don't have people around to brainstorm off, AI is a useful tool. I don't care what you say. And yes, it does get things wrong, but I double check it and triple check it with people and stuff like that. Anyway,
look, if you're not using AI these days, you're going to fall behind.
You're going to be behind the times.
It saves you so much time in terms of just mulling through stuff.
Especially if you want to check multiple websites at once. That's literally what it does. You can literally see it looking at the icons of what website it's going through. It just makes it quicker. Instead of searching for 10 different pages and cross-referencing is what it does best. Yeah.
But the key thing you have to do with any use of AI is double fact check it.
Yeah, fact check it. Because that's absolutely right. Yeah, again,
last question.
Hang on, just Cody, not Cody Fock, by the way, like you called him. Cody Fox says, plus the launch of Squadron with the Kraken launch is huge. Well, you can also chuck the Liberator in there as well. Having a massive ship like the Liberator, the Kraken, Squadron 42, whatever else they can chuck in there. You know, Henry Cavill up there. You know, and
Henry Cavill doing his thing.
We'll probably talk about Warhammer. Yeah, but a bunch of the other people as well. And the hype train would be insane. Not to mention, if you put it in March, I had a lot of big games that come out in March. This is my whole point. Like, if you wanted the airtime and you want to suck up all the oxygen into the room like GTA is doing, you do it on a month where there's no one else around, and that ain't February.
And that was one of the things that CIG were waiting for their release date.
Yep.
Was when is GTA dropped. And once they knew that, then they put the wheels in motion.
But again, there are other games in February. Like there's some big I think Exodus is coming out, which is another big sci-fi game in February. And that is probably going to be more directly involved with Star Citizen than GTA was, because it's sci-fi. It's made by Mass Effect devs and stuff like that. That's probably going to be more directly affected. And it's a single player game just like this. So 2 sci-fi single player games. See where I'm going here?
Yep.
Yeah,
going head to head. And the advantage of Squadron is that it's got the PU branch off. But
I think you'll agree with me though, Algared, by mid next year this thing will be out the door, right? I don't.
That would be my expectation. I fully expect that.
Yeah, missing this last half of the year basically means, well, we're not going to give you to this time next year, are we? Piss off, right? Like if they turn around and say, oh, it's CitizenCon next year, they're dead. They're dead. Like people are just going to walk at this point. Like it's like, you've been saying that for years. Like I've seen it in chat today. The running joke since like 2015 or 2014 is it's always 2 years away. And that is so like that was the thing that I even said to Algared. I said, like, remember what I said to you when they released that date on the CitizenCon floor? I said, like, they didn't even think this through. They literally said the game's 2 years away. That's been the running joke for like the last 15. You should have made it 18 months or even 3 years would have been better than 2.
Going 2 years, that's what everyone's been saying for donkeys. Yeah, it was.
They leaned into the meme. So, All right.
Yeah.
How many questions we've got left? 3 left?
3.
All right.
So, RD Disciple. RD Disciple says, imagining CIG's roadmap, when would you think they would introduce science gameplay and build out science ships like Reliant, Zen, and Endeavour?
After 1.0, and I think it's got a lot to do with animals and crafting, and you'd agree with that after our episode with Morphia.
Yep, 100%. And when they do that, I wouldn't be surprised to find when they first bring out science, we've got a new science ship that comes out.
Agreed.
And they get the Reliant.
You'd need scanning and all that too, like the Odyssey and stuff like that too. So, yeah, scanning leads into science, but then you're like anything. You think about a game like Subnautica, where you go around and scan things and you discover things. That's where I think they're going with what science is going to be. But like then you start mixing the different chemicals together and you can discover things. Like it's like when you get the different crafting recipes and you put them together, you may discover something. So you're just sitting there kind of experimenting with different components to see what comes. But if you put a research part into it, you can probably increase your chances of finding something, like knowing the amounts and stuff like that. So there'll probably be ways of covering things, you know.
We'll see. Do I need to add to this component?
Yeah.
I think you. Yep.
Daft Digit, if you're around, find me someone to raid. I don't know if you are still, buddy, but yeah.
Martin Stalinski.
What does he say?
Stelson says, Do you all think the Carney Mark V will be at a riddle? Yep.
Yes.
I think we discussed that at length and that reasoning.
Yes. Anything else?
I want to do. Nope. I think we talked about the Mark V quite at length, I thought. Krestrolki says, Orchestral Kill says, question. New Mark V Connie, thoughts on this to arrest a development pipeline?
What?
Isn't the Arrastra
so to go from the time from
final?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you, broke out again, that's why. So he's talking about going from the Mark V Connie to the Arrastra. The Arrastra is an industrial ship. The only industrial ship we've seen on the RSI line so far is the Salvation. So if you go up the line, you got to go all the way up to the Odin. The Arastra's just before the Odin, which is kind of like an ironclad size. You've got to then go down to a Connie size and then down to a medium and a small. So there's literally 3 ships between the Salvation and the Arrastra. You need to see those 3 ships first, basically.
Yep. So if you do a Mark V Connie rework, do you make one of the variants
And you've gone dead again. I don't know what's going on with your mic, man, but you just like half of what you said was cut out.
So if you're doing a Mark V Connie,
mm-hmm.
could you make one of the variants as that medium ship that does the same type of thing as the Orion or the Arrastra?
Or you mean a large, but yes you could. But I think again it's a completely different styling. And again, like I look at the Salvation. Well, you tell me. You look at the Salvation. Do you see a Zeus or a Dorito? I do not see it.
No.
Like if there'd been a tapered like form, or even if it was like vertical or something like that, but there is no diamond in the Salvation. If anything, it's box-like.
Yeah, the closest you get is the cockpit glass, it's the closest you get to any Connie bit, or any RSI bit.
That's more like the Mantis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like it's taking more Mantis cues than.
Yeah. So again, we could be wrong, right? Could be absolutely wrong, and they just jump to the Arrastra. They could. There's no reason they couldn't.
Yep.
They could use bits of the kit and kit bash and just make some new industrial pieces and go straight to the Arrastra. But realistically, knowing the Salvation's there, and we've seen this before, they start at the bottom and they work their way up. And again, I think the Skylark might show a bit of that. It might show a little bit different styling. It might show a Dorito. We don't know. Yes, I know you're hungry. Shut up. We're almost done. Right. Sorry, she's just going off her tits because she's hungry. Right. Long story short, chips to go before you get to the Arrastra is what I'd leave it as. Potentially.
I would agree with that. Yep.
Yep.
And that'd be it.
Yep, I think that's it. Right. I couldn't find anyone else. Did Daft Digit say anyone? Oh, he said Lee. I don't even know who this person is. Have a look. So I found someone, but I thought you might find someone who. Right. Do not know who this person is. They're not even here. I can't read them. They're not there. I'm going to raid Kilsar Prime. A long time streamer. He went away for a bit and he he's done low flying stuff. He's doing cargo at the moment. Pretty chill guy. I've talked with him a few times, quite friendly. But yeah, go over and say hello and we'll raid him. I would have raided the other guy, but he wasn't online. So I'm not gonna raid someone that's not there because that's just
I'm jealous. He's got a good head of hair.
Yeah.
What can I say?
All right, yeah. Ask him what he thinks of the new ships. We'll be listening. Tell him we say hello. Tell him that Algared said he's jealous of his wig. All right. Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, Twitch.
And they're off. All right, let's have a listen in.
Oh, the gauntlet. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh, shit. There goes the channel. Inforunners just rated with 51 odd ones.
Yeah. Inforunners, welcome on in, chat.
I got a beard now. I didn't have a beard before.
How y'all doing? Hope you guys had an awesome stream. I'm trying to figure out what to do today, and the courier mission that I've never touched, I can't even accept it. So, he's jealous of your hair. You know, I'm older, so I'm like it is thinning out a little bit.
Yeah, but it's got like the salt and pepper look going, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does.
See, I have a very small forehead, and growing up, it was so thick. Like now that I'm older, it's thinning out. You can kind of see my skull a little bit there, but yeah. Go to next reco rep. All right, thank you. Yeah, I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, so I wanted to do something different today because we were just looking at the Golem, the Alliance version that.
So he's already done it all.
That I picked up. So
he's up to the same place as me.
I'm more than halfway here. I could try to get to Prospector, but it's gonna take me like 4 to 5 hours of grinding.
Yeah,
you know, I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks. So I didn't want to bore chat. You know what I mean?
Right, I'll love him and leave him. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm up to. It just becomes this epic grind. Like the level just goes to 11. Like it's way too grindy once it gets to that golem. Like you want a free ship? No way! Like just like
yeah, you got to work your butt off.
Yeah, and then I'm like, if this is the golem, what else the Prospector and Mole gonna be? Like, holy shit! Like, because it's multiple.
What's Nidra's going to be?
Yeah, so like, because like you got to do like 8 missions to do the first bar, and then the next one's like it's almost like it's nightmare. So you're gonna do like almost like 50 to get the golem done. It's just crazy. It's just like, oh god, like, and you just get there and you're just like, I've done 3 missions and it's moved this far, and it's like, no, I'm done. just
yeah, I find that sometimes on the bars. I found that with refueling missions. Certainly when I was trying to do refueling with the Starlight, it was like, nah, and that's why I just dumped the Starlight and went to bed.
All right, I'm gonna have to go feed Cider. I'm gonna get eaten. So with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone in the extra on Patreon. Thank you for joining us today. It's really good. We will definitely get another more substantial video out this weekend sometime on those new ships. I got to go through, and I'll go through that. We'll also read general on the Discord and go through that. Get this one fed, and she doesn't eat me. All right, I think that's everything. Yeah,
I believe it is.
He's been Algared. I've been Execute because his mic keeps breaking up. We'll see you next week, citizens. Bye-bye.